stress. Babylon, why you breathless? Breathing strength, breathe out stress. So show love and fearless. Breathing strength, breathe out stress. Them one we just waiting to exhale from slavery. Plenty hostility to make the vice be hazy. To turn the earth into an atmosphere to fear the hemisphere Babylon, the city of adversity. Complex of complexity to make man uneasy. And still continue sequels of unequal daily. Try to make short of breath mystery so we don't breathe deeply. To have our society full of anxiety. Babylon, why you breathless? Breathing strength, breathe out stress. So show love and fearless. Breathing strength, breathe out stress. Babylon, why you breathless? Breathing strength, breathe out stress. So show love and fearless. Breathing strength, breathe out stress. Once we up in puffing with anger and raging, and running out of breath, upset hyperventilating. Some big asking for air cause of the press of young pressure. And those in sufferation feel like they suffocating. From economical segregation, strangulation. And all of the fast teaching them what in circulation. Situation be causing people heart palpitation. Snake toxic to nature and the nation. Babylon, why you breathless? Breathing strength, breathe out stress. So show love and fearless. Breathing strength, breathe out stress. Babylon, why you breathless? Breathing strength, breathe out stress. So show love and fearless. Breathing strength, breathe out stress. Try put to rest the respiratory system. Uniform brutality, bronchitis, them victim. Them want exit your oxygen from out of existence. Fixated and fantasize about man asphyxiation. Them want asthma, they breath of life just like an infection. And that the air polluted with them wicked intention. Try to panic attack we with trial tribulation. They toxic to nature and the nation. Babylon, why you breathless? Breathing strength, breathe out stress. So show love and fearless. Breathing strength, breathe out stress. Babylon, why you breathless? Breathing strength, breathe out stress. So show love and fearless. Breathing strength, breathe out stress.
Breathless. Babylon, why are you so breathless? We see every day more and more that Babylon is breathless. Shalom, Mishpachah, and welcome to Friday Night Live.
Shalom,
Rebbe.
shalom. Shalom, family. Shalom and welcome. I hope that we all can be heard. We're just making some final adjustments here. We want to make sure that before we get started, the voice is coming through clear enough on my end. It's not distorting. It's sounding good. And also,
It's
Brother
clear.
Shade,
Just bring it a tad bit closer to your face.
close to my face. All right. How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Let me just adjust my chair here. Okay, here we go. All right. I see everyone is coming in the room. All right. Well, welcome back again, family, to another Friday Night Live, and grateful to our Elohim for the opportunity of life more than ever before. Family, if you haven't been keeping an eye on what's happening out there in the world, you must be living under a rock. Because as of late, there's been a lot of talk here in America. For those of you who are not here on the United States shore, a lot of talk about civil war because of the direction the country has been going. It seems like everyone is up in arms. And these are the things that we have always talked about to keep your eyes or keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening, your eyes open to see what is happening around the world. And in the news, they're cracking down on a lot of things People are not safe anymore. I can say a lot about it. I can say a lot, and I think I'll save that in a moment. Let's see here. Yeah, we certainly will, Brother Shea. So, welcome each and all, wherever you are. Thank you for being here tonight. I want to say shalom to our families down in the Caribbean. Shalom, shalom. To Mishpachah over in South and Central America. Shalom to each and every one of you. Our families right here in these divided states of America. Shalom to you all. Across the border in Canada, shalom to each and all. Over in the UK, shalom to the Mishpachah there. In Africa, shalom to you all. In Europe, shalom. The Middle East, the Far East, and every island of the sea, we greet you all by saying shalom and welcome, each and all. As you all are coming in the room, just make yourself comfortable. We have much to talk about tonight. But before we do so, we will ask Elder to render tefillah on behalf of the whole house of Israel. Hallelujah.
All praises to the Most High. Family, let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you, we praise you, we bless you for gathering us once again on this Friday Night Live for another wonderful evening where we all can come together to fellowship, to refresh our mind because the time is at hand. The prophecy, everything is fulfilling. Father, we thank you, we praise you on the behalf of the 12 tribes, all of us scattered. We pray that thou may be with us, guide us. Bless us tonight, those that are not feeling well. We pray that thou may rest your hand upon the body, that all will be healed to give you thanks and praise. We present our teacher tonight, Brother Oshe, and Brother Yona as they present the word, and Brother Kifa as they all join together to read and to teach. I pray, Holy Father, that I may speak to our teacher tonight, Brother Oshe. Speak to him, through him, for him, and also Brother Yona. May your name be praised forever. Let Brother Kifa read, and whoever, Father, is taking part, I pray that I may bless them. May your will be done in our hearts and life as we join together. In Yeshua's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Hallelujah. Thank you, Elder.
Welcome.
Thank you. All right. So, shalom, Kifa. Kifa's going to be our reader for tonight.
Shalom,
and
shalom.
I hope,
Shalom to everyone out there.
let's make sure we can hear you well. Okay. So, family, as we are getting ourselves situated for tonight's class, as you know, tonight's topic tastes like chicken. I'm not sure Brother Shea can pull that up. All right, so in the news, you have seen the assassination of a young man who has been vocal about the way the world has been going and trying to engage in some conversations with college students, because a lot of times the college students are just going to school to learn, soak up whatever information that they get from their teachers. And in most cases, the teachers are very liberal and they push an agenda in the college campuses that is anti-life and in many cases anti-Elohim. So why is this important to bring up at the beginning of today's broadcast? It's important because it shows the Bible says that the hearts of many people will be cold. Will be cold. What has happened to people having a disagreement about where you stand in politics, religion, without coming to the point of these things? Now, that's one side of it. There are many, many sides. What I've learned is that many of y'all know about Candace Owen. And Candace Owen has been speaking out against Zionism and against a lot of the corruption in politics. She's not a politician, but she has voiced her using her skills with regards to being a reporter. And she, thank you, Stamar, for Matthew 24:12, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And that is very true, what we've seen. And there is definitely an agenda to silence, and there's an agenda also with the Ashkenazim, who is pushing many things. And so I'll just say this in brief, because I don't want to take up much time on this thing, is that at one point in time, Mr. Kirk was very supportive of the Ashkenazim government over in Israel. And there was a point where he started to turn from that. He was given quite large sums of money in his support for the government over there, and I believe that he put that thing aside. Mrs. Owens, Candace Owens, have been talking to him and bringing him into a better understanding of what's happening. And I don't think she was the only one. I think many others too. The thing about Charlie's is that he was great in persuading people through dialogue of not just as far as the politics, but as far as the way things have been operating. And we all can see it. It's all around us. We can see what they've been pushing. We've heard the voices of change. Like we really need to start changing the way the world operates and clean. Every nation needs to clean up their own house. That was what was sold to us by the now current president. And many of his supporters were actually going out and speaking on those terms. So that has affected many other countries who now has said, you know what, we're going to start looking into our backyard first, right, and start cleaning the house, which is a good thing. There's nothing wrong for nations to pull back from all this cobwebs of internationalism, but then pull back and say it's time for us to start cleaning the house. We've been cleaning everyone else's house. We've been in everybody's business. And so Charlie has been a younger voice on that level. It so happened that this thing has occurred, and we all know that he was also within the circles of the president and many others. Candace did a broadcast not too long ago. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you go check it out. And I can tell that whatever happened has affected her deeply. And towards the end of her broadcast, which wasn't a long one, she let out her tears, and she showed lots of footage of the relationship that Charlie had with her. Now, of course, he's a Gentile, but here's the thing, Mishpachah. These things also cracks down on our privacy, our civil liberties, right? The ability for us to operate freely. Now, this is going to be one more layer, probably even a larger layer on social media and what we can say, what we cannot say. There are many different parts, moving parts to what has happened, and it's not over. It's not over, okay? Not too long ago, I saw a report of, in the United States Virgin Islands, St. Croix in particular, which is the largest of the three islands, that there were exercises done. They took over the Air Force Special Forces for the Air Force, SEAL teams and so forth. All the special ops military actually did many exercises there, and they took over the airport to follow up what some has been saying as an invasion into Venezuela. Venezuela is, from what I understand, one of the largest or the largest owners of oil, larger than Saudi Arabia. So there are lots of deals of who's allowed to sell on the market and who's not allowed to sell, who will be suppressed and such like. There are a lot of different things, even with monetary policies that's tied into that assassination of Charlie Kirk. This also affects the islands. This also affects what has been going on, is also going to affect other countries. Believe you me, it's been seen already. I am not going to take up tonight's broadcast to talk about that. Perhaps on Shabbat I will go into some things with regards to that. But let me be clear, family. Things are changing rapidly. Even with travel, passports, and things of that nature. From what I understand, that biometrics market-to-be system is going to be coming even faster, right? Wherever you are, you make sure that that's where you want to be. Okay? Make sure that that is where you want to be. And some folks are not taking this thing seriously. They're just playing around. They're thinking, this, listen, the world is not the same. England is falling apart. France is falling apart. There's a lot of revolution. I was watching chaos over in Nepal, of all places. Nepal.
Yep.
Okay? There are a lot of things happening in many other countries. Vietnam is changing their monetary policy that your bank account, everything is going to be biometrics. They already announced it. That's in Vietnam. And a lot of other countries are going to follow. If you have been noticing, there's a lot of talk with changing the Federal Reserve and things of that nature. Brethren, all the pieces are there. It's all coming together. So I'm urging you all to be ready. Brother Shay, are we going to read this, Matthew 24:6?
Yeah, let me read this thing on the screen first. It says, media consolidation, the illusion of choice. Media has never been more consolidated. 6 media giants now control a staggering 90% of what we read, watch, and listen to. So in regards to what you're bringing out, and we're going to talk about it some more, everything that we are seeing has been designed a specific way to bring about their agenda. And we understand that the beast system is at play and is coming very, very soon. Let's read Matthew 24 and verse 6.
And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
And I wanted to bring this little piece out just to let the Mishpachah know. When we see all these things, these things have to come to pass. But I highlighted, be not troubled. And I'm putting it in this way to give us some sort of comfort that the Most High has those Israelites who are obedient in Torah. He's going to make sure we're well taken care of, okay? So all these things have to happen, and we will see the changes come rapidly as prophecy unfold.
And let me continue to say, family, that there's been a lot of talk. I listened to Andrew Tate. For those of you who don't know about him, he's been labeled all kinds of different ways, but he has been pushing men should be men, women should be women, they should be feminine, the men should be masculine, and because the world has been trying to push this agenda of emasculating the men, and we're moving in a Baphomet society, right? And so he says he fears that he might be next, as if there's a list. Now, Charlie, from what I understand, Candace made a comment. She did not go into any details, but I already know where she was going. And she suggested that Ashkenaz doesn't like certain things, and therefore this was basically an assassination, right, to some degree. The same voice, the same thoughts has been going around with a lot of these people. Andrew Tate also mentioned that an attempt was placed on his life with a man breaking into or coming into where he lives with a knife. And he says this happened just recently. So there's a lot of different things going on. And we have to watch what's happening over in the middle of the East also. People are putting hits for different reasons. And one of the things that has been mentioned by many of the social media giants, those who are speaking about going back to righteousness, right? The ways of the Most High. They've been talking about civil war, right? Civil war has been mentioned, that this thing is actually dividing the nation. And here's how big Charlie Kirk was. Even in Europe, right? In a lot of the European parliaments and so forth, has been asking for a moment of silence when they heard that he got killed. That's to show you how big this guy was. How big this guy was. Just think about it. Just think about that. His influence is not just in America, it's worldwide, right? So if you have someone who's very influential, who's able to persuade people to think, like we're doing when it comes to the Torah, we're persuading our people to think about the scriptures, what is written, what the Mosai said, versus what the garbage that is out there, right? Then you have even amongst Israelites, the Hebrew Israelite camps and so forth, who are very much in the line of cherry picking because they want to pick out what they want and push that thing rather than all the scriptures. Even that itself is suspect. So you have to let the scriptures prove itself. Let the scriptures of the Most High, because again, the Bible says the love of many will wax cold. And that's exactly what is happening. And also keep in mind, on top of that, Brother Shay, you remember lately in the news, they've been bringing out this thing with black men going out and committing these stabbings and these murders and stuff like that against white women.
Yep.
There's a lot of that going on too. And one lady who was a white lady on the bus, I think it's a bus or a train or something like that.
It was a train.
It's a train? Okay. And she was from Ukraine. Now, these things don't just happen by accident. There's an agenda. There's an agenda to provoke a civil war. Because then you're going to have black versus white and this politics versus... They're trying to stimulate or provoke something to happen in this country, and not just this country alone, the whole world, for a reason. So I urge our people, I really urge our people, get yourselves in order. We saw that recently, and I don't know if you have this in the news report, Brother Shay, that Russian drones were shot down over Poland.
Yeah, we saw that too.
And the NATO People's Force is on very high alert. Okay? Very, very high alert. You want to play something?
I'm just showing you Trump orders flag at half-mast.
Yeah. And not just here. I mean, you can probably pull up something. I don't know if you can be able to do it, but where governments overseas did ask for a moment of silence. You don't get that from just any regular person. So it really shows how far this thing has reached. So it's amazing. You go to bed, and right after that, even when you get up to go get a glass of water or use the bathroom, you say, let me go check the news. And boom, something major is going on. That's how fast things are really happening, right? And that's right, Yannette. The agenda is an internal war, and there's a chaos. And Brother King, out of chaos comes order. That is very, very true. Yeah, see, European Parliament declines to hold a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk because he was speaking on the side of the Ashkenazim, and he was speaking for just like the Christian Zionists, right? He was along that same group of people, and then he got a rude awakening and started to shift, and that's where, if you go look at some of his conversations with other social media folks, celebrities, he has been changing his tune, right? He has been changing his tune. So things are not happening by accident. A lot of things behind the scenes are happening. And I wonder sometimes if he was aware that he was going to be taken out, because they said he was fidgeting with his ring, his marriage ring. Maybe he knew something. Maybe they warned him about his family or whatever. Maybe he knew that that was the last time. I don't know. And you know what's also funny too? They said that the Ashkenazim, was it Ashkenazim? I think it was them who made an announcement about his death.
Yes, it was on Amazon.
And also Amazon,
There's a book
some
that-
books were published beforehand. Okay, before about his death, before he was actually killed, assassinated. So there's a lot of funny business going on, Mishpachah. A lot of funny business, kind of like with and this is around the same time with 9/11 too.
Yep.
Shalom, family out there. Yeah, according to what's going on out here with the situation as far as this loss of life and the things, we have to remember that Ephesians 6:12 says that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Also, we also have to remember that everything in the world we live in is put together with symbolism. We live in a world of numbers, and every number has a reason why it is. Now, there was a definition of a psyop, or a psychological operation. And what that basically is saying, that a psyop is something that's created to give a certain results based on a certain operation, based on a purpose, and based on a strategy that they have to have an agenda in place. And you could read that on your own. But let's look at something that's very strange. We were at the brink of a 24th year anniversary of 9/11. So we live in a world of zeros and ones and numbers, and we understand that there is a number that's going to be given, which is 666, or a number of a man. We also have to remember that we're not only living in a situation whereas we had a class last week. Now, if you want to go back later on a Rumble channel or YouTube about AI. Now, that's another thing that you have to think about. And we have a president who is president number 47 who spoke about fake news. That's why the Bible said we should not let these things trouble us. They look in the stars, the moon, and different things for signs. And we should also know that there's a reason, there's a number, and mathematical equation of things add up. We have 9/11, which is the 24th anniversary, gave us something that we all probably forgot about. On 9/11, which took place on September 11th, shortly after that, which is October 2001, we had what is called the Patriot Act. And that was the result of that incident that took place. Now, there's so many information in regards to who is behind that. And I'm not going to hint to if it's the same people that's behind the incident with this gentleman who got shot, possibly in the neck, or is it a deep fake? But there is so much information that is being done played on our head in order to give a psychological response. Now, knowing that numbers have a lot to do, this gentleman was killed. His date of birth is October 14th, and October is the 10th month. The 14th is the day. You add both of those up, you get 24, which goes back to the Patriot Act. You go back to 19 plus 19 subtracted from 93, which will bring you down to 47, which brings you to the understanding that it's in the time of this president. But we have to understand that there is signs. We always have to look at the signs on what is being done, on what's being prepared. And as Rebbe said, we have to be prepared for what is going to happen. Yes, we may set up and say, well, we're gonna build a bunker someplace, but would you be able to travel to that bunker? Would you have the necessary, supposedly, passports, supposedly the right markings on your hand, either in the forehead or the hand, in order to travel? These are the things that everyone has to think about, and also be thoughtful by being led by the Most High and the spirits of the Most High. I'll leave it at that.
All right, Mishpachah. Well, tonight we're going to talk about taste like chicken, because they say everything tastes like chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that true, Mishpachah? Everything tastes like chicken? The science of food, when the unnatural becomes natural. And that's something that we have been battling for many, many, many years now, when you got a lot of different hands that are mixed and touching the food before it reaches your plate. From when things are manufactured, grown through agriculture, you name it, processed, packaged, and then it goes to the stores, and then there's more hands touching it before it can come to your table. And before you know it, you don't know who's touched what and what's touched who. So
Yep.
when the unnatural becomes natural. So in today's world, everything is now normalized to accept things the way it is. So tonight we're going to talk about the food a little bit, okay? Again, there's nothing new under the sun. We all understand that our enemy has been poisoning us for decades and still continue to. And we understand they can't help themselves. Is that true? They can't help themselves. We talked about it many times, how the Most High has placed upon them these different spirits to make them do these wicked things. So it's like an itch that they have, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So they can't help themselves. But tonight we are just continuing to bring awareness. This is for our people. Because we understand in our laws, if there's unclean things, you can give it to the heathens. But for our people, we're not supposed to give unclean things to our people. We're supposed to present ourselves as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable, wherein we watch what we put into our temple, which is our body, what we eat, what we consume, both physically, mentally, spiritually, everything. Okay? So we want to bring awareness to our people, teaching us on what dangers we need to look out for, because there are plenty of hidden dangers out there. And we're going to watch some videos tonight. It's going to be some short slides that I put together, but the videos are very, very good and very informational that will help us gain some information and understanding on what to look out for. All right, so let's look at the how they're poisoning us, so we can stay away or stay far away from those things they call consumables, because that's what we are. Mankind, all men on earth, women, no matter what family you're from, we all consume things. We are consumers. So we're always building and breaking down and building again. We're always eating because we have to eat in order to live. That's the way we're designed by the Most High. So the enemy understands this. So he has cleverly put things together where he can cause us to eat certain things in this class tonight that is going to take us away from, sorry, excuse me, having clean things to eat.
Yeah, his job is definitely to destroy anything that looks like Elohim, because remember, it's Elohim's spirit that formed this earth, and he said everything was good. Satan don't like that. So every opportunity he has to contaminate, defile, even the children of Israel, this is what he wants to do. And the Bible says that he knows he has but a short time. So what are you going to do in the meantime? Right? He's like Oscar the Grouch. Everything is trash. He's just trashing everywhere. And so this particular class is important because it helps us to see as consumers, um, give us a little bit more insight as to what's happening behind the scenes. Because I'll be honest with you, for example, Brother Shea, the Adventist Church, the Seventh-day Adventist Church has prided itself as being one who eats clean food, right?
Yeah.
Forget about the Shabbat, right? They say Saturday is a day and so forth. But one of the things that they pride themselves in is trying to eat healthy. That has been one of the main things. And as much as they have been trying to, eat healthy, they don't really spend time in their on the pulpit when their preachers are talking to go into some of these things on a regular basis. Now they may have some, I don't know, some off the topic, like on the side forums or whatever it is, that will have some discussions. But I think when people go to a church or any place of assembly, um, Sister Dawn says some of them eat shellfish. Wow, I won't be surprised, Sister Dawn. But all of us have found ourselves being contaminated or corrupted one way or the other, like Kraft macaroni and cheese. Kraft macaroni and cheese is a very popular box, instant, well, not really instant, but boxed up product, right? Where you get the powdered cheese and you get the elbow macaroni. And so it is famous, and it, for the most part, it tastes good. But we didn't know that within the cheese itself, there are certain enzymes that comes from pork, right? So they're using, they don't throw anything away. They're using a lot of these unclean things. Like they said, well, if you have issues with a hairbrush, use this natural hairs. What is a natural hairs? It's pig. It comes from the boar. So these are just like small examples of things that needs to be taught in the realms of, Christianity, or just in the church. Just when you go, the pastor should take time to warn the people of what they're buying, the products, so that the people can make safe choices for themselves and for their family. You can't talk about spiritual health, Bible, but then the other parts of the health of the script that the Most High spoke about, you ignore that part. That doesn't make any sense, right?
Nope.
All right, so
Yes, Mishpachah. So we can see that they know exactly what they're doing. Now, this is something very interesting. When you go overseas, it's a different law or legislative way of, controlling the food or what you consume over there. Let's look at the FDA a minute, because I'm going to break this down a little more. People also ask, read that for me.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, is a federal agency within the Department of Health and Human Services that protect public health by ensuring the safety,
Okay, so their job is to ensure safety. Go ahead.
efficiency,
Efficiency,
efficacy,
efficacy. Okay.
and security of human and veterinarian drugs, vaccines, medical advice, medical devices, the nation's food supply, cosmetics, and radiation emitting products.
So this is what the FDA, because the question is, what is the FDA and its purpose? Food and Drug Administration. So they cover food and they cover drugs, pharmacia. All right. So we understand that it's a wide net that they have thrown out there. So they're talking about public safety and public health, efficiency and security of human and veterinary drugs, vaccines, medical devices, the nation's food supply, cosmetics, and radiation emitting products. So they look at what things have radiated or has been
Safety.
radiated. Huh?
The safety of things. Let me interject real quick.
Yeah,
So this is the United States Food and Drug Administration, correct?
yes.
But I believe this is also important for our brethren who do not live in the United States, because products that are shipped from the American shore has to be scrutinized by this agency. You may be living in Jamaica and you might be getting a lot of stuff coming from the United States. You may be living in Africa and you may have products coming from the United States. Some things are made in the United States, partly made. It goes to Europe. It may go to other countries and it's finalized, it's finished. The product is labeled, packaged from those other countries, and then shipped to your country. And so you may be thinking, well, brothers, that's in America. That's why I left America. Don't be silly. Don't be silly. I remember watching a documentary called Life and Death. I think it's called Life and Death, Kifa, in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Where the local farmers have their fresh milk. And they can't even sell that thing. They have to throw that thing away because the Jamaican government made deals with the United States to import powdered milk. And imagine the cows that the quality of the milk is poor from these cows that are turned, the milk is turned into powdered milk. Then it's shipped to Jamaica. So now all of these children and whatnot in the schools and everywhere else is getting the stuff there. So this is why it's very important. And Jamaica is just one example. There are many other countries.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep that in mind. All right. Let's keep that in mind.
Yes. So you see how this net has been spread all over the world. Again, America is the leading source that the world patterns after. Let's look at Sirach 12, verse 10 and verse 16.
Sirach 12, verse 10 says, "Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness."
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
Sirach 12, 16 says, "An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood."
So even with your death, you're still not satisfied. So he says, never trust your enemy. Because our enemy is everything that these governments are putting out. And you may find some good things mixed in between that, but this is where you have to understand and know what is good from what is bad. You have to know what you can trust from what you can't trust. But overall, you can't trust them, because to the left over here it says the FDA is there to protect you, to keep your food safe, and the list is long. But they also allow enough poison to enter into the food. Do y'all remember that we had classes on this before? They'll tell you, we allow enough rat droppings to enter into this piece of product, or enough dead animals, or whatever it is. Arsenic, give me some poisons.
Hey, Brother Shay, you know what used to amaze me? When you have the rice and the bag is sealed, completely sealed, and all of a sudden you're seeing little weevils in that thing, and you're trying to figure out how in the world did this stuff get in there?
Yeah, because they allow the eggs and stuff it was not processed properly. So they allow certain amount of things to get in. And to the enemy, they will speak sweetly to you. Oh, yes, we care about you. We care about the environment. We need to have clean air and go green and all these different things that they'll say out of their mouth. But they are just looking for ways to make money and to destroy you. That's all they're trying to line their pockets and destroy you. So We cannot trust these people when it comes to what they're telling us. We have to do our own homework, our own research. And tonight, this is what I want to, show us. That way we have a better understanding. Let's look at our first video tonight. First video tonight, fair use, fair use. We're going to look at this little one here. And these are some very interesting things that they bring out. This one is called, why do we have chemicals in our food? If the FDA is telling you that they're looking out for your safety, why is there chemicals in the food? That's the question.
It's a busy morning in London and I'm on my way to the CNBC office. But first, I'm going to pick up a coffee and probably a cookie too. Yeah, no worries. Thank
Can
you.
y'all hear that well?
When it comes to food, this is usually how I
Put a
start
one.
the day. Then it's usually a sandwich for lunch and a ready meal I purchased from the supermarket for dinner. And every once in a while, a cheeseburger after a night out. All these food items have something in common. They all fit in the category of ultra-processed foods. A 2021 study found that ultra-processed foods account for more than half of calories consumed in the US and UK. And
Look at those numbers. So look at those numbers. Ultra-processed foods. Is that natural or unnatural? All right, let's continue.
about 20 to 40% of calories consumed in other high and middle-income countries. And the bad news for me and many others is that recent studies have linked consumption of UPF to serious diseases like diabetes.
I'm going to pause it there. Look at the screen. It says cancer, early death, heart attacks and stroke, more cancer, addictive to smoking, more cancer. So how are they saying they are monitoring the food output to make it safer for you to consume when you're only getting more and more sicker?
Obesity, and even cancer. So how widespread is this problem, and should ultra-processed foods be off the menu? Firstly, I'm speaking to Tim Spector, Professor of Genetic Epidemiology at King's College London and the co-founder of Zoe, a personalized nutrition app. I'm showing Tim my lunch menu, a tuna sandwich, a lemonade, and a bag of chips.
Look at all those carbs, why do you want palm fat in here? Why do you want wheat starch? Now, this one is a diet lemonade. It's made with real lemon juice, no added sugar to make
Diet lemonade. Now, growing up back in the day, Ema Elder, let me ask y'all a question. Did you ever have to go and have a diet lemonade when you squeeze some limes together or some lemons together?
No,
Take the mic, Elder. Take the mic. Tell them.
no, we never had that. We get the real, we pick it from the tree.
Uh-huh.
We make our lemonade. Whatever we have to eat, we get it from the ground. Coconut from the tree. I used to climb the tree, get my own coconut. I used to pick up the breadfruit. I used to get orange, whatever it is.
Everything fresh. Now, if you notice she's saying she have diet lemonade, what is wrong with that, Mishpaka? Think about it. When you take lemons or limes and you squeeze it and you make juice with it, when you add the sugar to it, right? The natural sugar in itself versus what they have as far as what they call lemonade, it's two different products altogether. The fake sugar, that's right. And they say you have to diet. When limes and when citrus in itself helps you break down fat and and cleans you out and different things like that, but it is the type of sugar that they put inside of it. But do you know that when it says diet something like diet soda, diet drinks, that's the worst of the worst? These things cause your cells to bring the cancer. It actually feeds those cells to reproduce incorrectly. So now you have all types of growth and different things going on into your body.
It's as if they're making food for cancer, to feed cancer.
That's exactly what they're doing. Because it's like your body's saying, I need this, but then they're going to give you a substitute that makes your body think. So think of it this way. You have a lock and a key. This key opens this lock, and then it allows whatever that's behind that key to enter in to perform its duty. So the sugar would open up this lock that causes the natural glucose to go into the body. The body would take that, break that down into energy and different things that you need. But what science does is they give you a type of sweetness, a faint key. So the body opens it up, thinking that it's the real stuff, and enters in the unwanted poisons or the chemicals. And now your body can't perform what it's supposed to do because there's no way of getting rid of those things. So now those cells or that nuclei or whatever it's going into can't process it properly. And therefore you have cancers and cysts and different things growing in the body. Let's continue.
Sure, they're not adding sugar, they're adding artificial chemical sweeteners. So you're getting this chemical composite, which has this health halo of being healthy and source of vitamin C and all this nonsense, but it's actually really, really bad for us.
More than half of the calories consumed by the average UK household are ultra-processed. It's seen the UK food industry become increasingly lucrative for food companies. The food and beverage industry is the largest manufacturing sector in the country.
See, because once you start producing the way they're producing, the quality of the food now takes a backseat because now they're pushing for quantity, and that's what you're seeing on the screen.
Country contributing $34 billion to the economy and employing over 400,000 people. The British Food and Drink Federation, which represents the $128 billion food industry, says there are many benefits to processing food, such as turning raw ingredients into edible food, increasing shelf life, improving texture, and offering a variety of options. The first time early humans processed food was about 1 million years ago, when our ancestors...
And you know they're going to try to push in their crazy way of thinking.
Yeah.
decided to cook it with fire. Then came other interventions like baking, fermentation, salting of food. The Industrial Revolution brought new techniques like pasteurization. All of this allowed us to consume and store food in a safer way free of infections. By the 1950s, with growing prosperity around the world, food processing became less about preservation and focused more on convenience, enhancing the taste, color, and texture.
That looks good, right? That looks delicious.
Yeah.
Tastes like chicken.
There's chemicals, there's brilliant food scientists in these companies that come up with these foods that are just got that right mix of fats and sugars and salt.
Yeah, let me go back a little bit.
Just a little bit. I think it went over everyone's head what this guy just said.
Listen carefully what he said.
Just got that right mix of fats and sugars and salt just to really make you want more and more and overeat.
Go back a little more.
Yeah, a little bit more. You said right there. All right.
Convenience, enhancing the taste, color, and texture.
Chemicals, there's brilliant food scientists in these.
Pause. Chemicals from brilliant food scientists. Remember that? We'll go through that as we go further. Go ahead.
Companies that come up with these foods that are just got that right mix of fats and sugars and salt just to really make you want more and more and overeat.
Most of the ultra-processed food that you found that higher in salt, fat, and sugar, they are designed extremely tasty. They are ready to eat.
And you got to remember, Mishpika, these are not Torah-abiding people who are making the foods for you to eat. So the standard is different. It's not like you can go into the place and says, okay, I know I can take this package and just go with it because I know it is made according, it's processed, made, packaged, everything according to what the Torah standards are. You're looking at who is speaking and who is talking about the science behind the food.
And they are also really aggressively marketing, especially to children.
Dr. Kiara Chang is the author of an Imperial College London study that links UPF consumption to increased risk of cancer.
We follow up almost 200,000 participants who were aged between 40 and 69 years old, and we followed them up for about 10 years. And we found that for every 10% of their proportion of their diets that's coming from ultra processed food, every 10% of that was associated with a higher risk of developing cancer.
What's the link between obesity and consumption of ultra-processed food in your research?
We also found that higher consumption was associated with higher risk of obesity and type 2 diabetes as well.
Non-communicable diseases like heart disease, cancer, and diabetes, which are not spread through infection, kill 41 million people each year. That's 74% of all deaths in the world.
74% of all deaths in the world is from food poisoning. But you won't hear about this on the news like that.
No, and you know what's funny about that too is you have the medical industry working along with the food industry and the drug industry. They're all three of them working together. So that's why I was listening to. I'm sorry, I was listening to a short. I guess it was a podcast or something, where this guy was talking about the times that we live right now, how things are, moving so quickly. And one of the things that he mentioned in the conversation was preparation, but he did not come out and say, get water and different things of that nature. He talked about don't forget your supplements. The supplements, Brother Shay. Yeah. And when I thought about it, I was like, so you mean to tell me that in a scenario like that, something has to pop off, World War III or nuclear or something, that supplements is what people are looking for? I mean, it goes to show how the world has changed so much that they can't exist without supplements. You find people with bottles and bottles and bottles. Take this, take that. Ima and Elder and many others of that generation, they grew up, as he said, about the lemonade. There was no diet lemonade. I mean, the sugar was processed differently, and you sweeten it according to you want. A lot of people started getting diabetes because of the soft drinks that were being manufactured in those places, right? Soft drinks, not the lemonade.
Yeah. Imagine the children have rattlers when they're babies, right? Mm-hmm. As you get older, now you have bottles of pills, just shaking. All right, let's finish this video because I got a lot of videos to cover. All right.
The World Health Organization says that most of these diseases are the result of 4 particular behaviors: tobacco use, harmful use of alcohol, physical inactivity, and of course, an unhealthy diet. Here in the UK, 1 in 4 people are obese. That's the highest rate in Europe. And rising obesity comes at a time when there is serious food insecurity. According to the Food Foundation, healthier foods are twice as expensive as less healthy options.
And there's a reason for that, you see. What's good, they make it high for you to pay for. And what's cheap, they put it right there for you. What's not good?
Actually, fruits and vegetables. I visited the Food Foundation and spoke to Rebecca Toby, a nutritionist and business manager.
How do you think we can find the balance? Because the problem is most of these ultra-processed food items are quite accessible and cheap. So it's an important option for a lot of people.
I think we need to acknowledge that not everybody has the time or the mental bandwidth to spend on food. If you're working multiple shifts and your food budget is really constrained,
think about it. If you have your own garden and farm, and you have your family in that environment working it, you know what is coming in and out of it, and you know how hard it is to prepare everything, and you take the time, you prep everything, versus living in a city scenario where everything is made already, readily available, fast foods, quick vending machines. You don't have to worry about anything. You just wake up, push a few buttons, the bell goes off, your food is nice and hot, you're out the door, on the train, bus, wherever you're going, into work. It's like a cycle of on the hamster wheel.
Sound like a very nice rat race life that's cushy, that's give you the opportunities to do what's very important, which is lose time and not connect to the Most High.
That's right.
To make sure that the government and businesses are acting to actually change the food environment people are living in. It mustn't be about individual choice, because really choice is severely constrained here when it comes to what people can buy.
In recent years, Britain's food system increasingly became a controversial issue. Health campaigners have been calling for the industry and the government to take action to improve access to better food. A group of investors have also joined the conversation.
We noticed that investors did not have a seat at the table when it came to advocating for the well-designed regulation, really that will be able to support us to build a healthy, sustainable and affordable food system.
Sophie Lawrence leads a group of investors called the Investor Coalition for Food Policy. They manage assets worth $7 trillion.
We're going to go to the next video because there's a lot more to glean. But you can see this is just in the UK area. It's worse here. Okay. Let's go to this next video. Let's move on to the next slide first, and then I'll pull the next video up. All right, the next slide, we're going to read something very important. Just look at this, Kifa. All right. It says food companies use chemical compounds. Go ahead and read that for me.
Food companies use chemical compounds known as flavorings to mimic and enhance taste in processed foods. These can be either natural or artificial, but the core method involves isolating and recreating specific molecules that trigger taste and smell receptors.
That's what you call wizardry. When you're doing a trick, you know, like an illusion. A Jedi mind trick. A Jedi mouth and mind trick.
Yeah.
Because they know exactly what they're doing to capture you as a person eating. And we're going to see later on who they're targeting mostly of the time. Let's continue the process.
The process of mimicking tastes. Identify chemical compounds. Food scientists or flavorists use technology to identify the volatile chemical compounds that give natural ingredients their flavor.
Now imagine you have a job. All you do is just sit down there and create flavors. So in Israel, you see the king sitting there and he says, I need more flavor on this. And the guy comes up and he tastes it. This is not good. This needs some more flavor. Or in whatever country that you go to, they know what they're doing. These people are specifically sitting at tables and desks and cubicles and in labs, and they're just there creating different tastes.
Here in the environment, according to where we live in the U.S., there different restaurants has what they call R&D, research and development. Back in the old days, they were tasters and testers. Basically, the person would taste the food before the emperor or the king or whoever gets the food, or the king would have somebody taste it before he eats it, and that is to prevent him from dying, poison or whatever. We learned all this stuff while we were studying to be chefs in classical food. There were a lot of different complex things that regards with food, and the main thing that we were able to find out and learn that food is a medicine, and depends on what food you eat and what food you don't eat, it will have a certain reaction to your body, your DNA, and everything else.
All right, let's continue. Let's continue here, for example.
For example, the molecule vanillin is the main component of vanilla flavor, and isomal acetate is a key compound for banana.
So in that key compound, that isomal acetate is what you're tasting when you have the banana. But then in the vanilla flavor, it's something different. So they know how to mimic that and give you that illusion that you're tasting something like a banana, or from the vanilla bean, the vanilla flavor of it.
And sometimes, I don't know if you were able to put it in a class, sometimes the vanilla scent and the vanilla taste, you will see further on in the class where it possibly come from. Unless you get it from the bean itself and you scrape it off the bean, And the bean looks like a large, long, like a string bean.
Let me pull it
but
up.
it's black, dark in color, and you would smell it or whatever.
And it's expensive too. They have made, it's almost like if they put the natural food on a high shelf, you can't reach it, and all the garbage on the bottom, so you can reach it easily. And
Right.
they have vendor machines that is built to keep trash for 50 cents to about $2, but you
Right.
can't find a vendor machine that keeps a banana or an apple or something like that. There's nothing like that. There's a bunch of garbage.
You see it right on the screen?
Mhm.
And then this is some right here. And it comes 2 in a jar, and it's very expensive.
How much is that one, Brother Shay?
Not how much was this one? Somebody can Google it and see. Whole Foods. When you get a chance, just Google it. Whole Foods organic vanilla bean.
Now, this is a choice you really want to go if you really want vanilla, or you have to look to make sure it's organic, and make sure that ingredient doesn't say natural food flavoring or natural foods or natural flavorings, because you don't know what you're really going to get. The word natural is exactly what they're telling you, but it's a trick.
Mm-hmm.
It's not natural of what you're thinking. It's natural of what they're thinking, because they're selling it to you.
That's right.
You're the buyer and the consumer, but it's at your fault. It's like the saying says, caveat emptor, meaning the buyer must beware, or do your research.
Let's continue to replicate compounds.
Replicate compounds. Once a compound is identified, it can be replicated in a lab.
So that's what these scientists do. They sit down and they break things down, isolate them, and it says, okay, this is called this and this is called that. So what we're going to do is we're going to create this. Let's see if we can make this. And they go and they spend weeks and months, however long it takes, and they put a lot of money into it. And then they say, finally, we replicated it.
Right.
We have something that is just like it.
Right. And that's where the word pharmakia also come into play, to understand there's 2 elements involved in that, one with the food and one with the natural herbs that make medicine or whatever. And they use these things and replicate it to not only destroy us, and we always have to remember, Exodus told us that they deal wisely, and we always have to keep that in mind.
Yep.
Now we go up to the main distinction between natural and artificial flavors is the source of these replicated compounds. Natural flavors are derived from a natural source, such as a spice, fruit, vegetable, or other plant or animal material.
And you see where it says animal material? So you don't know what you're getting. Is it natural? It is natural.
Oh, yeah.
But is it natural for you as an Israelite to eat according to the law, statutes, and commandments?
Dietary.
Because the Most High in Leviticus 11, he tells us exactly what we can and cannot eat.
Right.
If you have a moment, you can pull up Leviticus 17 and 15. Yeah, that's a little better.
17 and 15.
Yeah, because as you mentioned just a second ago about Leviticus 11, it is true. See, why are we having these classes? We cannot just identify as Israelites and don't remind our people, right, that we are in a covenant relationship with the Most High, that he requires us to check ourselves to make sure that our diet lines up with his laws, statutes, and commandments. That's the reason why we do these things, right? When the doctor tells us that we have to abide by a cleansing process for whatever reasons that he puts us on the regimen, we make sure that we follow that thing to the T. But when it comes to the Most High, we find excuses, which all of us are guilty one way or the other. So it says in Leviticus 17 and verses 15.
And every soul that eateth that which died of itself, or that which was torn with beast, whether it be one of your own country or a stranger, he shall both wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the even, then shall he be clean.
Okay, so and that's not quite the one I really wanted, but we're supposed to give the unclean stuff over to the other nations, right?
Yeah.
And so when it comes to the way that the nations put food together, I guess the question is on the table is which recommendation are we following, right? And I know it's a difficult topic because the way our houses are structured now, we don't have the mother at home like beforehand that will scrutinize whatever comes in the fridge, check everything and make sure that her husband and the children are being fed healthy stuff. We don't really have that anymore. What we have is you run into the store as quickly as you can and you just snatch things off the shelf because you want to have groceries, and then you just go from there. And if you really look at how much groceries, the balance, if you put it on a scale, how much is processed versus how much is produce, you'll find that there's more processed stuff than anything else.
Yeah, that's true. You said what? Deuteronomy 14:21.
Okay.
Let me pull that one up. As we go through, we're going to see some things here of how they have been wickedly putting things in the food. You said verse 21? Okay. Is this the one?
That's the one.
Okay.
Ye shall not eat of anything that dieth of itself. Thou shalt give it unto the stranger that is in thy gates.
See?
That he may eat it, or thou mayest sell it unto an alien.
And that's what I was saying earlier.
For thou art an holy people unto your Elohim. Thou shalt not cease.
Yeah, you can stop there, Kifa. That's fine. But again, the Mosai is very strict, and there's a reason why he's telling us to do it this way. He knows the cycle of life. Since here we're eating a lot of preserved stuff, the question is, well, what is a requirement for something from the time it dies to the table, right? From the farm to the table. How long should that be? Because you have Gentiles that believe in having aged meat. The meat is basically rotten right? With mold, all of that stuff, right, Kifa? And it would say this is really good stuff. And we have taken on, like you have your Julia Child, and you have so many men and women chefs, celebrity chefs, that will create this thing in our heads that this is how we should go, and we entertain that stuff. But the Mosai is sad. He's not happy with what he prescribed, that we are not following his prescription to the T, and that's what we have to work on as a nation.
Now, we have spoken about this, and you have had many classes, Rebbe, of cash-right living and different things, 1, 2, 3, and different stuff about food. But this is just another one of the classes that everyone has an opportunity we share with.
Yep. All right, let me play this video, and then we're going to go on to the next slide here. Fair use.
This instant oatmeal right here, me personally, I like the strawberries and cream the best. Notice right here where it says natural flavor. When I learned this about natural flavor, it tripped me out. Matter of fact, just hold on, watch this.
FDA allows companies any natural product to create
See the FDA, okay?
a flavor. And castoreum, typically called natural flavor, is taken from a beaver's anal gland.
Look at that.
It's far cheaper to use castoreum.
See that right there? Let me pull it up over here and pause it a minute.
Anal food.
See it right there? Let me put it in the chat so y'all can go and read it yourself. Copy. Let's paste it over here. Okay. And I also put in the chat the video I did, Clean on and Unclean Foods. You can check that out too, because it covers all of this in detail. Where was I? Okay, right here. Let me go to the pictures. Let's see, image. See how that looks right there? Esau and his compadres, his crafty counsel, this is what they go dig up to put in your foods to give you flavor. And it's called natural flavoring, okay? Let me go back a little bit so you can hear what the FDA does. Let's start from here.
To use virtually any natural product to create a flavor. And castoreum, typically called natural flavor, is taken from a beaver's anal gland. It's far cheaper to use castoreum or beaver's butt to flavor strawberry oatmeal than using actual strawberries.
Does that make sense? You said, I want some strawberry oatmeal or strawberry ice cream or strawberry cakes or whatever. But they're going to go to an unclean animal.
Yes, that smell vanilla-ish.
And they're going to kill this animal.
And it's not the toe of the animal. This is a place where all the great stuff comes out that the animal ate.
The great expectation happens there. Okay,
Hey, Brother Shay, can you type in this in the AI search? I think this will help to add to what you're talking about. Type in beavers in the food industry. Beavers in the food industry. And let's see what AI, beavers in the food industry, so that the Mishpachah and a worldwide audience can see what AI is pulling up here. Yeah. Okay, here we go. That's it right there.
Beavers are in the food industry, both as a source of meat and for the use of their scent gland secretion, castoreum. Beaver meat, once a delicacy, can be used for processed meats and is considered nutritious tasting, similar to beef, and provide a sustainable protein source of some communities. Castoreum, which comes from the beaver's anal glands, are historically used as a natural flavoring for a tiny fraction of luxury.
Sit there, keep it. That's good. The part that I think we need to emphasize is where it says beavers are in the food industry. That itself says a lot.
It's right here.
And I'm trying to figure out, if all these so-called animals are on the so-called endangered list or protected by governments, why would you? Because I don't know of any beaver farms. Have you? Is there any like beaver farms in Canada or somewhere like that? You girl.
Maybe they have.
I don't know if farmers are raising beavers, right? So that would not be something that will be cheap at all. I mean, which one should be cheaper, growing vanilla bean or hunting or trapping beavers?
Well, you're getting 2 for 1 with the beaver. You not only getting your vanilla, but you're getting close, sustainable proteins that is close to tasting like beef. You know, in the Matrix, the guy said it's all an illusion.
So there are no beaver farms.
Okay, so if there are no, well, see, beaver farms, that's probably not a real.
Oh, there are no. It says there are no beaver farms. There are companies called beaver farms, but there are no.
Right, and that's what I suspect. I suspected that that's not possible. So how do you introduce this thing into the world industry, you know, on a large scale? We're not talking about just 1 or 2 trappers selling a product. We're talking about, you know, this thing is in, what is it that the dreadlock dude that was in the strawberry oatmeal?
Yeah, it's right here. I'm gonna continue playing.
Okay.
It. So let me go back a little bit so you can get a taste of it. Okay.
To flavor strawberry oatmeal than using actual strawberries. They don't want you to know what's in that natural flavor either. Just try to call the company and ask. They'll tell you it's proprietary.
It's nasty, right? And to think about these natural flavors, another thing that tripped me out, there's actually been billions of dollars spent in research and development to make natural flavors to make us want to keep on eating more. That's why it leads to weight gain. So check this out. One thing that I did, I stopped eating those. I like to go to the sprouted oats. I make the oatmeal from scratch, and then I chop up strawberries, blueberries. You know what I'm saying? I put some maple syrup in it, and then make it taste even better, man. My name's Jabez. I lost 100 pounds. This was me in 2014, but I did it still eating the foods that I like to eat. That's why I'm always saying read the ingredients. What it was, I had to learn how to choose the right versions of the food that I like to eat. That's why I wrote my book, Life Matters, so Let's Eat Like It, to explain how I did it. We've helped thousands of people lose weight with this book. If you ever go to lose weight, it will help. We're doing a back to school sale. Shout out all.
That's all we need from him.
Content creators.
Yeah. So read the ingredients. That's his thing. You want me to pull this up for you?
Yeah. And also, you know, you see it a lot. You really have to read the ingredients, loved ones, because you don't know what you're actually putting in yourself. And as we continue to live out here in this world, we're not only fighting for our health, we're fighting to live according to as the Most High and the dietary laws tells us to.
What are these photos you put here?
Yeah, you could, as you look at the milk you drink, you got to make sure where it comes from. The potato chips or the chips or whatever you use, you have to make sure you look at where they come from, and look at the ingredients. What's in your bread? Some of the stuff have. This is from Sun Chips. See where I circle it says natural. That's the Sun Chip right there. And as you go to the back and read the ingredient, you'll notice it says natural flavors right there amongst everything else. And you're thinking, well, it's good.
Sun chip.
You go back to the front of the Sun Chips. And the front of the Sun Chips. Now, you might look at it and you might say, well, okay, this might be kosher, but I wouldn't know if it's kosher or not. And it might say it's kosher. Yeah, UD is on it, OK is on it, meaning that it's kosher. And you go ahead and you just say, well, okay, I'll just eat it. But then when you really pay attention to it, it really isn't, because it has these things in it that doesn't make it kosher.
Hey, Keith, I remember when the Sun Chip came out, it was supposed to be an alternative to the regular chips, right?
Right.
Potato chips.
Right.
Healthier version, right?
Right. And you look at this also, the Simply Cheesy Puffs, which is tasty and everything. And the ingredients on the back says natural flavors, right? This is something you wouldn't really pay attention to because you say, oh, it doesn't have no pork in it. It doesn't have nothing in it. Then you go to the milk, the so-called almond milk, and stuff like that. Yes, you're looking at the almond milk. The almond milk will say, okay, it's kosher, you could drink it. But then you flip the back side of it, see it says, as you look at it, you see the bottom, it says UD, which says it's kosher, but you got that natural flavor in, which right there and then, you don't know which direction they're going with this. And it totally messes up not only your temple, but it messes up your health. And there are many, 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 many different milks out there. This is another one that has the same issues. You see, oh, it's organic, it's coconut milk. But then you flip the back of it and it says natural flavors right there. So we're just here to help, share, and edify our congregation and anyone that may come across this later on in a rebroadcast in a Rumble channel and the YouTube channels out there.
Okay. Yasha Rafael Esquire says, Mishpika, avoid citric acid. It's derived from black mold. Every now and then you can find a product made with fruit-derived citric acid, but it's very rare. And that's true. All right, let's move on to the next slide. I got a video right after this.
Oh, you mean to tell me, Brother Shay, that isn't citric acid also used like in candies and stuff too?
You can find it in a lot of different products.
So people are sucking on mold.
Yeah, I mean, the candies, the gums, and different things like that, if it doesn't have things that you actually know what it's about, and it may taste good, you got to do the research because you're basically killing yourself. You may not know what that chemical will do to your DNA to begin with, or the DNA of your children down in the future, or it might have a chemical reaction that may cause you to stop you from sleeping, or cause another reaction with another chemical of some other food you ate during the day. If you really want to know what's happening, sit down, watch the commercials with the different drugs that they're pushing, and it says, well, there's a cure for the crook in your neck or the pain in your shoulder. But then it comes along with 10 or 15 different side effects that you have to deal with. And you have to pick your poison, so to speak.
Yeah, never trust your enemies.
But they're saying that it doesn't come from black mold. The AI is saying that. I'm not sure.
The AI is going to tell you a lot. If you want that acid, you just get a lime and add to it. That'll give you all the acid. Acid is based on citrus, basically.
The AI says it comes from mold, not black mold, though. But it does come from mold. See, so that's a game.
Messing with either.
Politically correct. All right, let's read the slide here. Cost effectiveness.
Cost-effective synthesizing flavors in a lab is often cheaper than sourcing and extracting natural ingredients.
See, so they're saying it's easier to create this chemical compound versus going and getting the natural strawberry itself, which makes no sense because they don't want to do the hard work anymore.
Well, that's the same thing they're doing with the cows are pooping too much, farting up the environment. So let's get a cell from a cow and make lab meat. And that's what they don't know the side effects of these things long term. And they just said, well, go ahead, let's just do this. Only for the budget. This helps keep production costs low and protects against price fluctuations for crops. Extended shelf life, natural flavors can degrade over time, losing their potency. Flavorings are more stable, ensuring the product maintains its intended taste throughout its shelf life.
And this is where the Most High put a shelf life on things. But since they have been creating all these different flavor profiles and stuff, now you have something called forever chemicals. We talked about this in the plastics and different stuff that you find in your foods now. You can't get away from it because these people are trying to take, through CRISPR, take this gene out of this that causes the tomato to turn soft or the banana to turn brown or whatever. They want to take that out so you can have forever meat or forever tomato.
And this is just an extension of the battle from the garden. There's nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun, according to Ecclesiastes. This is just another extension to kill us and pollute our body.
Labeling and precipitation.
The FDA allows companies to use the term natural flavor for compounds derived from natural sources, even if they are synthesized in a lab using synthetic processes. This lets companies appeal to consumers who prefer natural ingredients, though the final chemical is often identical to the artificial version.
And you can see, Mishpaka, the truth about food marketing. See the number here? 1 billion. The number is higher than that, actually, spent per year on marketing aimed at children and teens, because they're the ones who always tell mama and dada, I want. Give me. Over here, he says 1% fruit, vegetables. That's how much percentage that they spend time in marketing on these foods.
There's a reason why a hamburger is $1 and a salad is much higher.
Yeah,
right there. You see right there.
Especially when they said that the price of meats has gone up a whole lot.
Yeah.
But still, McDonald's able to push out
99 cents.
And if you want to know where they're coming from, sometimes it may be good, as we have been blessed to have a natural farm in our area and also a butcher shop, to go and source your meat and milk where you can get it and you know where you get it. The farm to table thing is a true thing that is good, and not knowing where your food comes from, but a supermarket. Remember, they're more concerned about the overhead than the underlying problems you're going to have with the doctor.
Hey, Sister Johanna had sent me some photos. She and her husband caught some beautiful salmon from the river that around her way. So she's in a good place to pull some things right up out of the waters, pristine waters in Canada. I really hope so.
Yeah. I remember when I was living on the west side of the world, over there in the mountains, we went fishing and we caught some trout and some salmon, and the meat was the color of your shirt naturally. I mean, beautiful, fat. And I compared to the one in the store, and it was like a light pink. And I was shaking my head and says, man, this thing looks totally different.
Have you seen the blueberries? I went to the marketplace and they got blueberries as a grape. In the wild, it's small, right?
Yeah, it's tiny. All right, let's play this video.
This is Fruit Loops sold in the United States, and this is the same product sold in Canada. At first glance, they look identical, but if you take a look at their ingredients list, you'll notice some key differences. The American version contains several food dyes that don't appear in the Canadian version.
Now, why is that? Why can't the company say, you own your company, Kiefer, right? And you says, I want my stuff to be natural. I want to be all organic, healthy for everyone to eat. So why are you going to cater to this country different from another country?
Right.
Think about it.
It's all about money.
It's all about the money.
It also contains a substance called BHT, a preservative that faces stringent restrictions for food use by the European Union.
I think it's indicative of how much more lax the rules are here in the US. So there are ingredients that may be used in US products that aren't allowed in the EU or in Canada.
While not all additives are inherently bad, experts have long raised concerns about the lack of regulation over harmful additives in America's food supply.
The Food and Drug Administration announced today that it is banning red dye number 3. That's the synthetic additive that gives certain products their bright cherry red.
And even though what's his name that just came in with Trump,
Kennedy.
Even with them trying to do stuff like this now, it's too late. And then they're telling you it's going to take another 6 months or
No, 6 years.
6
years before
to come off the
change.
shelves before they can start to change the stuff in the companies. Does that make sense?
Nope.
Color.
Europe defaults at protecting the population. The US defaults at actually letting ingredients in and kind of allowing the food industry to police itself. We know from prior research that over spans of decades, thousands of ingredients are added to the food supply without the FDA knowing about it. It's impossible to quantify because we don't actually know which ingredients are added.
In 2019, 59.5% of foods bought by American households contained some form of additives, an almost 20% increase from 2001.
Chemicals and additives in the food supply are.
So how are companies getting away with adding potentially dangerous additives to America's food supply? And can anything be done to stop it?
That's the question.
Not all food additives are bad. Many of them are approved and widely.
Legal loopholes. So they're going to start snitching on themselves.
The video audio is going in and out. I'm not sure if everyone can hear.
Okay.
But it seems to be going in and out. So make sure it's up enough.
Other parts of the world. The US is a little unique, though, in how our regulatory process works, which has led to a lack of oversight over a lot of these chemicals.
The Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, is responsible for regulating food and health-related products to ensure they're safe for public health. Today, it's estimated to oversee 80% of the US food supply.
So the way that it is supposed to happen, based on the law that Congress passed in 1958, is if you, a company, want to introduce a new food additive into the food supply, you would file a petition with the FDA. And that petition would trigger an FDA investigation of that chemical. FDA scientists would look comprehensively at the safety of that ingredient. There would be a public process where the application would be filed publicly, and other scientists and experts and citizens would have the opportunity to weigh in. And only at the end of that process would you get approval or disapproval from the FDA, determining whether or not that ingredient can be used in products.
Congress, in its wisdom at that time, said, we know there's all these like ingredients used in food, like flour or olive oil or pepper or salt. We don't need FDA to review all of these common substances. So they made this exemption to that requirement for substances that are generally recognized as safe.
What we have seen over time is that companies are creating new ingredients, having their own scientists or hiring outside scientists to make their own determinations that an ingredient is safe. And then once they self-declare that their ingredient is safe, they don't have to go through that pre-market process.
Between 2011 and 2021, only one new chemical went through the petition process for pre-market approval.
Only one.
Meanwhile,
but you saw how strenuous that process was, right? And only one ingredient went through that process. So you see how they play the game.
the vast majority of companies use the GRAS pathway to determine safety on their own. 756 new food additives have been introduced into the food supply through this loophole. by the food and chemical industry between 2000 and 2021. However, that number only includes additives that companies have voluntarily notified the FDA about.
When a company submits a GRAS notice to the FDA, there are three things.
Just dropped again. All that, if it's playing on your end, it's not playing here.
Put the link in the chat. You could always go back and
take it off.
Ingredient is not actually generally recognized as safe and make that statement, or FDA scientists can start asking questions. And what typically happens when the FDA starts asking questions is the company can ask the FDA to stop their evaluation. They can withdraw their notice. I call this the take backsies provision. And then there is nothing further that the FDA can do really to stop that company from moving forward in marketing.
Between 2015 and 2024, the FDA ceased to evaluate 113 notices at the notifier's request, based on a calculation by CNBC.
So countless companies out there that are just putting food on the market without that notification, and it's technically not illegal.
Previous research has estimated that about 1,000 substances have been added to food without the FDA ever being notified.
1,000 substances.
Many of these ingredients may be safe, but we have functionally created an honor system, and we shouldn't have an honor system determining what goes into the food that we eat every day, that we feed to our families, and that we may be consuming over the course of our lifetime that could potentially contribute to our own chronic disease risk.
However, supporters of the food additive industry argue that GRAS ingredients are tested with the same rigor as additives that go through the pre-market approval process.
The food industry is highly regulated, and the only way that food and ingredients can come into market is to follow the laws that are in place. Both processes require the exact same requirements. There's a plethora of scientific evidence needed to ensure that those ingredients are safe, reliable, and effective.
As more additives enter the market, the global food additives industry has seen immense growth, with some research estimating that its market size could reach $106.8 billion by 2029.
Food additives are what make food possible. There are additional benefits such as extended shelf life, consistency, longevity of products. Everything is very transparent.
Everything is very back over a minute.
that's a smile that come with that word, trans.
So they know what they're, the little Yoda in the back.
Yeah.
Jedi mind tricks. They know exactly what they're doing when it comes to the food, and even within the medications that we are taking, the cosmetics, all these different things that they're putting in our foods. All right, let's look at flavor enhancements.
Flavor enhancements. Beyond mimikins, some companies use special chemical ingredients to enhance or block taste receptors. All right, let's pause a minute.
So look up here, you see it says flavor, oral chemoreceptions and nasal chemoreceptions, taste and smell. So you remember the cartoons growing up with, I guess, Bugs Bunny or whatever it is, and the smell was floating in the air.
Yeah.
And he grabs him by his nose and he picks him up and he floats away. So even in the smell, they're putting things for you to be attracted to it. Put extra beaver button there for you.
Yep. I'm gonna get it.
So you see how it's oral, gastration, which goes through your stomach. Sweet, sour, salty, bitter. Umami. You remember what umami is?
Yes.
It's a special, right?
Yeah.
Umami flavor. All right, continue reading. In 2005.
In 2005, biotech company Genomics development compounds that could make a food taste saltier or sweeter, allowing manufacturers to reduce the amount of salt or sugar they use.
Imagine that. So you're not even having the real taste of sugar, but the thing tastes real sweet. And you're like, this thing tastes sweet, but there's no sugar in it. How is it sugar-free, but it's sweet?
Yeah.
It's a magic trick. How is it salty, but there's no salt?
Yeah.
All right. Continue over here.
How taste is manipulated beyond flavoring. In addition to flavoring, companies use other chemicals to manipulate taste and texture. Sweeteners, artificial sweeteners like sucrose or aspartame, are used to provide sweetness without the calorie of sugar.
So that's that bait and switch where they bring the key, unlock the door, and your body thinks it's receiving that natural glucose that's coming in when it's something that is not there and is empty, but the emptiness is filling something else that is not supposed to be filled.
And you find a lot of these things in the candies, the gum, and all these different things, your sweeteners and different colors. And there's a reason why you pick up a pink, the sugars are colored a certain way. White is for regular sugar, brown is for raw, pink, which is also the color that is used during the season for help the chemical drive, have all these different chemicals in it, blue and all these different things. Pay attention. You're being tricked. You're being told, and you may say, well, okay, I'm going to try to eat as safe as possible, but then you're going to grab some gum that has exorbitol or aspirin and all these different sweeteners, supposedly, and not sugar, and you're only adding more problems to your life.
And when you look up the word artificial, it means made by humans.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not natural.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, the Most High didn't make it.
Just like artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence, correct.
Acid, citric or malic acid, are added to create a sour or tangy flavor.
Tangy flavor, yeah.
Flavor enhancers. Monosodium glutamate, MSG, is a well-known flavor enhancer that creates a savory umami flavor.
So you're like, this is good.
Mm-hmm.
I can't put this bag of chips down.
Mm-hmm.
You keep eating, before you know it, your fingers turn orange, your lips are orange, everything, your shirt orange, everything orange.
Your feet's numb and you have a headache.
All right, let me see. I have a video to play here. 1 second. You see how crazy this is, Mishpachah.
Health is wealth. Either you do it now or wait until you have to see a doctor, and hopefully you'll get a doctor that have scored high on his school test, and you don't have the guy that did most of his stuff online or at home.
Oh, come on.
He's operating on you.
All right, press play. All right, here we go.
You want to kind of live a healthier life? Let's pay attention to some of this stuff. So let's go through. Potassium bromate, okay? You'll find this in Goya, in Wise, Hormel. When it comes onto BHA and BHT, you'll find it in Kellogg's, Nestle, Nabisco. By the way,
now these are chemicals he's naming. Let me go back a little bit, because these are chemicals that he's listing that's in the foods, which companies put them in their foods. Go back again.
You want to kind of live a healthier life? Let's pay attention to some of this stuff. So let's go through. Potassium bromate. Okay.
So potassium bromate, you look that up, you'll see exactly why it's dangerous to you.
Okay. You'll find this in Goya, in Wise, Hormel. When it comes onto BHA and BHT, you'll find it in Kellogg's, Nestle, Nabisco. By the way, in our family, we stopped all cereal 2 years ago. Not one cereal for our kids. Everybody feels better. Ractopamine, this is feed additive used to promote leanness in animals. Imagine like steroids, clenbuterol, you get cut up, right? This is with Plainville and Genio.
When you look those things up, let me click over here. When you look those things up, you see how detrimental it is for you as a person to ingest and to take. And then you're wondering why you have so much health problems, so much sickness that you find in your body. Now, this is something very interesting. Mouth feel.
Ingredients like starches, gums, and glycerin can be added to imitate the mouthfeel of fat or moisture.
So they put things in it to imitate the texture of the food. You see over here, mouthfeel. You want the taste of how they suck in snot from the clams, right? Then you have the crispy fried chicken, the soft, sweet, cold watermelon, the crunchy green apple, Then you have the feel of the not sushi, but what's it called again?
The
There's another
salmon?
one. Huh?
Is that salmon roll or something? Is that what is that?
Sushimi. Sushimi. That's what I'm trying to remember. This is raw. When you're eating fish, it's called sushimi. Raw fish over rice. Then you have the pastry here. Down here you have your burger, you have your
popsicle.
Icicle with
icicle, yeah, and then you have your bacon and eggs or whatever it is over here. So it gives you an idea of having the different textures in your mouth. Let's read what Exodus 16:31 say. Exodus 16 and verse 31. Let's see what that say.
And the house of Israel called the name thereof manna.
So this is the first time they ever experienced manna. What is this? Go ahead.
And it was like coriander seed.
So they compared it to what coriander seed tastes like. Go ahead.
White, and the taste of it was like wafers made with honey.
Wafers made light and crispy.
That's the description of manna.
That's the description of manna. It had a color like the coriander seed, the texture of the wafer made with a slight sweetness. So this was a mouthfeel that Israel was going through.
Yeah, they didn't get it from Whole Foods or Publix or Walmart or anything. The Most High Creator.
Let's look at Numbers 11, another example of mouthfeel, and then we're going to see a video on that.
I don't know if you can pull up Psalm 78 and 25 in regards to the manna itself.
And the people went about and gathered it, and ground it in mills, or beat it in a mortar, and baked it in pans, and made cakes of it, and the taste of it was as the taste of fresh oil.
Fresh oil. Who ever tasted fresh oil?
Mm-hmm.
The definition of fresh oil is the process of how it's created, meaning you take the olives, you boil them down, you separate the fat from the olives, and you take that and you process it again, and then you skim that off, and it's a different taste to what you get when you buy it in the store.
And I was just laughing.
Coconut also.
I was laughing because what came to mind was they tell you that people of color was running around in the bush with nothing on. They didn't know what they was doing, just eating and doing all kind of craziness. Then they didn't have an idea, a clue what to do. But hey, the scriptures is telling you that Hebrews was out there doing this stuff.
Mm-hmm. You said Psalm 78?
Yeah, start at 24 to 25. This is about
okay, go ahead.
Manna.
And had rained down manna upon them to eat, and had given them of the corn of heaven.
So manna is the corn of heaven. That sounds good.
Man did eat angels' food. He sent them meat to the full.
So the Most High gave us angels' food, as we call it, the corn of heaven. And then we had that beautiful, sweet, tasty bird called quail. Quail is delicious. I don't know if you ever had, in Mishpachah, if you ever had quail before. If you never had it, you go get you some. All right, let me go to the next slide, and then we'll play the video after this. So you see, it deals with visual texture.
Even before we put food in our mouth, we can already see that it is shiny or rough, or that it looks grainy. If we think about a pudding, the height of the spoon corresponds to its mounding, which is also a visual texture.
Mm-hmm.
Tactile sensation. Mouthfeel includes the tactile aspects of texture, precipitation during food consumption, perception during food consumption. It refers to what a person feels in the mouth. For example, how much does the yogurt coat your mouth? Is it firm or slippery? Is it sticky or chalky?
And you see that with certain fruits that you eat. There are some fruits you can eat it. It leaves like a chalky, numbing taste in your mouth. Some are creamy. Some are more acidic, sharp tasting. Some are smooth. You know, it just depends on what type of fruit you have that you're eating. So this is where they come up with the idea or the term mouthfeel. Audible sensations now.
Mouthfeel also includes the audible sensation of food. For example, the loudness of the sound of biting into a cracker.
Or a crunchy piece of fried chicken.
And all that has a lot to do with neuroassociation, which meaning that you associate things with sight, sound, smell, feel, and everything. You have a certain emotional contact or emotional tie with what you're eating and also what is happening at the time.
Mm-hmm. Let's look at what this video puts here now. Okay.
What flavor do you think that is? Go ahead, guess. A lot of people will guess matcha these days or mint. What it really is just a vanilla milkshake that we've dyed green. Now, if I hadn't told you that and you tasted it, there's a pretty good chance you'd still get a little bit of a mint characteristic. You might think it was a bad mint milkshake, but you still might get a little hint of mint.
Secret science.
So when it comes to food, taste is how we evaluate flavor and texture of the foods and things that we eat. We only have a couple of different tools physically that we use to do that. We have 5 different taste senses. We can taste salt.
You want to say something on that?
No, I mean, the thing is, we remember the guy talk about science and scientific usage. This guy is a professor of behavioral economics.
And he's talking about food.
Yeah.
All right, well, I mean, I guess the food have to do with your behavior.
Yeah. Sweet, bitter, sour, and umami. But then there's a whole other set of things that we use to identify what flavor is, and that flavor and taste is, and that's basically through aroma and smell and your olfactory senses. Your experience of taste is beyond just what happens in your mouth. I'll give you a good example. I've done this demonstration a number of times where we give groups of people yogurt. They're blindfolded. We tell them it's strawberry yogurt and ask them to choose which one has more strawberry flavor. The trick is that it's all vanilla yogurt flavored with chocolate sauce, but they don't know that. Everybody picks one yogurt.
You hear that? They blindfold you and tell you, okay, we're going to give you yogurt. And we're going to give you strawberry yogurt, but it's chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
And in your mind, you're like, it still tastes like chocolate.
Witchcraft.
Exactly.
Being more strawberry flavored than the other, regardless of the circumstance. The key to the demonstration is how I frame the question. I didn't say, what's the flavor? I said, which one has more strawberry character? And that limits the responses that people have. But if you ask them, they'll say, but I tasted strawberry.
What we eat and drink is not just sweet, sour, bitter, etc. It's a combination of lipids and so fats and carbohydrates and protein and water. So I think it's strange that what we eat and drink is not a part of what we use as a paradigm for taste. So we need to figure out some way to include the basic tastes and to have these big 4 of food science included in one concept. So we need something else. And something else, I think, is called mouthfeel. And I think the concepts that describe taste, or rather mouthfeel, whatever you want, describe well, are 3 directions. One is called drying, and another one is coating, and another one is contracting. So again, look at here. The product here, called lemon, will be very contracting. So all the acidity, but also everything that's very spicy, would be contracting. It contracts in your mouth. So the cells in your mouth, your whole mouth pulls together in some way. Then coating would be, for instance, the banana. The banana is soft and gooey and has some richness and coats your mouth. That's why we took coating as a concept. And then the carrot may sound strange, but for a while we call this drying. You can also think of toast, like Melba or biscuits. But the crack of such a carrot is also an aspect that we call drying, because it breaks in your mouth, it gives some crispness, some hardness, gives bite, as people say. And all these concepts belong to the family of drying.
Now, let me switch over here real quick. So, in watching these videos, and I'm just thinking, in Leviticus 11, or throughout the Torah, do we see the Most High instructing anyone to go through all these concepts and mind games?
Creflo Dollar said it's done away with. You don't need the Old Testament. You just need to just forget about it.
So these people are just playing with your mind, basically.
Yeah.
Pulling on your emotional strings of your heart.
And if you're not sharp enough to realize that you need the Old Testament along with the New, or the Torah, or the words that the Most High said, knowing that he didn't come to do away with anything, and just got rid of the sacrificial laws, it's important that we pay attention and understand that these people are not our friends.
That's why I played. That's why I read earlier, never trust your enemy.
Yeah. There are many things to look at also before you start that, especially with our people that may go out to eat in restaurants. You may want to, and this has been mentioned in a lot of the videos that Rebbe put out and Kashrut Living and everything. You may want to go and look at the scorecard, and it'll say they either get an A, a B, or C, or D, or it might be shut down. Also, you want to look and take a peek, if you can, in the bathroom. Go to the bathroom first before you decide to sit down. Take a look at the presenter. Take a look at the place, because whatever happens in the kitchen happens in the bathroom. They have to use the bathroom someplace. You don't know what kind of magic they're doing in the back, what they're using. And, we're told in scriptures to pray over our food, and we have to eat in the shambles, and we're in captivity and all that. But please use some sort of, caution and some sense of common sense to whatever you're doing. If the score says they have a C, go down and see what it is, contaminated food or something, or go and look and see if it says it's 100 on the scoreboard. Talk to the owner of the establishment. Speak with the chefs. Find out where they get their food from. I mean, we spoke with one of the restaurants we went to, a Jamaican restaurants in Brunswick, and we understand that the guy buy halal foods, and a lot of things, and his methods of cooking is clean, and the bathroom and the different places. So before you consume, read first.
Just like how Rebbe says before. Drink downstream, you check where? Upstream. So that's doing the homework, the research. And we have not been taught to do that. This is why we're trying to teach our people to start doing that, going out, putting in the work, finding out what's behind the curtain. Is there a little wizard, or
yeah,
or is it actually the word of the Most High? Yeah. Because that's what we have to find out. All right, let's continue.
So we thought it might be kind of fun to invite you in to participate in a little thought experiment. Take a second. Think about the word cheesy.
So he's going to play with your brain now, okay?
Now apply it to macaroni and cheese. What does that do to your perception of macaroni and cheese? Now think about it for a glass of milk. Not so good, right? We've done lots of experimentation with kids in K-12. If you name a food, if it becomes a monkey phone banana, kids select it more, and they like it more when they select it. If you give diners in a fancy restaurant the option to select succulent fish or fish, they select succulent fish more frequently, and they're willing to pay more for it too, and they like it better.
Done some research with Nick.
In other words, Mr. Carr, they will have a piece of fish, like you just said, and then they'll have the same piece of fish. So two of the same fish, 1 and 2. And on this one, they're going to label it succulent fish. The regular fish costs $5. The so-called succulent fish costs $10, but it's the same fish.
Yep.
That's how to do it in the restaurants. That's really how to do it.
That's how it is, and it's all about costs, profits, and your borderline as far as what you have and what's affordable. Many people want to have certain types of foods all year round, but it's not possible according to seasons when you're really supposed to be eating in seasons or farm to table.
And check this out too. This is not only with food. This is with gasoline, because they will tell you have what's the highest gas they sell?
Super unleaded.
Super unleaded, and it costs like $100 for a gallon. The best one on the market, and then they have the regular gas. And when you dig into it, Mishpaka, even with the oil, this company oil says engine oil, but over here you have give me a name of a oil,
STP or
STP. It's the same oil that went to the company who was producing the oil, and they bought barrels and they stick their label on it, and they're going to charge you the Walmart brand or the regular brand $5 for a quart, and then the brand name is $10 for the same quart. That's what they do in majority of everything that you see here. So you think you're getting quality, but it's not.
It's more like a placebo.
It's mind games.
A salad in two ways. One was a very healthy and sustainable salad, and the other one was a Tuscan salad. It was exactly the same thing. But the Tuscan salad was really loved, and people said, "Oh, I really like that salad." And the other salad was often passed away. But people said, "Well, I don't want that salad because I don't feel like having something healthy." So if you name a thing already healthy, then it has an adverse effect. People turn away.
You notice what he says: if you name the thing healthy, in your mind you're getting something organic. In your mind you're getting something kosher or clean. But it's the same dirty lemons that they put there on the table for you to have.
Yeah, these are warlocks. These are magicians.
Yeah,
they're using words as it says, spelling, nothing but plain witchcraft with the minds of people.
Right.
So that's why it's even harder for a lot of us to, well, I won't say harder, but some people find it harder to get into the lifestyle of eating clean because the work that you have to put in is hard. Like when you go to the grocery store, you got to take time. It's like a second job. You got to go down the aisle. You got to find. You want milk, like we talk about all the time. You want regular milk.
Yeah, I showed you a picture. I'm gonna
have about 10 different brands of milk. And not only the brands, but you have the different types of varieties of milk and then the percentages of milk. And then within the milk, it says organic milk, but then there's mushrooms in there.
Yeah.
It's like...
And Brother Shay, most of the milk is not even local. So how far is that stuff coming from? Where is it coming from, right? Can you, if you don't mind, pull up Zephaniah 3 and 9?
Yeah.
This has to do with the language that the people are pushing, because one of the things that is interesting about this passage of scripture, Zephaniah 3 verses 9.
For then will I turn to the people a pure language.
Hallelujah.
That they may all call upon the name of Yahweh to serve him with one consent.
This text to me implies that our language has been corrupt, right? And it's getting worse to the point that when we speak the tongue of the heathen, are we calling upon the name of the Most High, or who's hearing our voice, right? Because it says, for then will I turn to the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of Yahweh. So the language is connected to the Most High, right? Where he can hear us and serve him with one consent. But this thing here that we call English or language today, as this guy is speaking, it's not, the Most High is not being attracted to it. I think this is calling upon evil spirits, the spirit of diabetes, high blood pressure. Because remember, when Yeshua came, the people were dumb. It was a spirit of being dumb. Dumb spirit was on the people, deaf, blind spirit. These are all spirits. And so in the book of Enoch, it spoke about how these demonic forces were teaching witchcraft, mixing up different things, right? Potions and stuff. So I'm wondering if what they're doing and the language that they're using who's been attracted to this thing, because it's not serving us, it's bringing death to our life, right? And Yeshua says, I came to give life, I come to give life and life more abundantly.
Abundantly, yes.
Those who call upon his name will be saved. So the language has to be restored. All these things have to be restored again, because right now, the way things is going, it's a death trap.
Mm-hmm.
And in most situations, people go to a restaurant and they say, well, I want a steak. Oh, how you want it done? Medium rare. The Bible never said anything about eating medium rare. But then again, you don't know if it's a steak you're eating or some other person you're eating. You know, there's a lot of things that goes into a lot of things that you have to research and pay attention to.
Yep. Brother Dawood, that's right. If we are honest, our people's taste buds aren't even desiring healthy foods choices in the first place. And that is to start from birth. When a child comes out, instead of giving them the mother's milk, they give them Similac, that nasty milk or that powdered, chemical powder form. So right off, the children are being conditioned to taste other things than what's healthy. So when you start giving them good food, they're like, I don't want that. I want fries. I want nuggets. It says a carrot and an apple is more healthy for you. And even when you give them the real chicken to eat, they're like, this tastes weird. This tastes strange.
Yeah.
But that processed chemical compound chicken meat that they put together, it tastes good.
Mm-hmm.
It has the right texture and crunch to it. So you see the guy here. Let's finish this video. He's almost finished. How he's telling you that they use magical words to persuade you to eat the foods that they have.
And say, no, let's have that Tuscan salad. So thinking through how things are named and use the proper words to seduce people and making the good choices.
To seduce people.
Refrain from using words that turn people off is very important. Words are an ingredient. So you can use words already to induce a certain food behavior.
You hear what he says? Words are ingredients. And you can use it to seduce people. That's very, very important what he's saying there.
If we stopped and asked 100 people on the street, would you like to have a better diet? Most of them would say yes. 99% would say yes. But that doesn't mean they necessarily follow through on that with their actual actions. So one of the things that we can do with some of this information is set up an environment or use tools or cues to help us fulfill these desires that we say we have.
So here you are, the doctor tells you that you should be low on salt. You have these low salt alternatives. But now suppose, what do you do with your egg? You like your egg and now you cannot add salt anymore. Imagine that you understand what the function of salt is on your egg. It is contraction, gives liveliness to the taste of the egg. Imagine that just a drip of lemon also gives liveliness. And then the role of this drip of lemon is not to make your egg sour, but the role is that it gives liveliness, just like the salt is, it gives liveliness to the egg. And if you understand that, then there are many other examples as well. A drip of Tabasco or fresh ginger could all do the same thing, because they add something in a contracting field. And it will not be the same as salt, but it will be very close to your preferences. I guarantee you that. And that way of thinking, I think, would be very functional to educate our chefs with, or to do that in your own kitchen. Because if you know how the deliciousness is being made, then it would be much more easy for you as well to create your own delicious dishes.
Hey, brother Shay, can you pull up an AI search real quick? Type in Caston spells over food ?
Okay.
Caston spells over food ? Interesting connection to what you just played with, and then what you mentioned about food being put a question mark. There you go. What does it say?
Read that.
What does it say?
Yes, casting spells on food is a practice within certain spiritual traditions, like kitchen witchcraft.
Pause a minute. Bishop Bukai, you see it for yourself. Kitchen witchcraft. We're not making this up. Go ahead.
Where it's known as kitchen witchcraft or kitchen magic, it involves imbuing foods with intentions and energy by combining ingredients with specific symbolic meanings and performing blessings or rituals during preparation to achieve desired outcomes, such as healing, love, or protection. This practice focuses on the connection between food intentions and the spiritual realm.
We have a lot of examples of that when you look at when Abraham with the gods and the food, and Daniel when he was with Bel. When you look in the Apocrypha, the book Bel, when he was dealing with the food, how to offer foods to the gods.
Right.
And even this, when you dig deeper, Mishpachah, it ties in with the vegan diet too, because it all ties in with a spiritual type of way that you're eating. Remember, the Most High already understand how our bodies operate and work. So he gave us a specific diet on what to eat, and what we should and should not eat. The rest of the nations, they can eat whatever they want because he have given them over to these unclean spirits.
Right.
So when you put two and two together, you'll see how this all falls into place. That's a good find there, Rebbe, because that's exactly how these people put things together.
Which is no different.
Witchcraft.
Which that same witchcraft happens during the holiday seasons. You know, you have Halloween, which is coming up. You got Thanksgiving. That's part of the the whole witchcraft of that.
And I'm glad you said that, because when these things are coming up, they're gonna say, "Oh well, I'm not participating. I'm just having some of the food."
So nibble.
Yeah. Because my mama make that turkey real good. I want some of that cornbread that they have during that time. I want the eggnog. Whatever it is that they're offering, it's offered to the gods. This is all spiritual kitchen witchcraft. All right, let's go back over here a minute. Let's see. All right, so what are we looking for? This is the question. So we can help our Mishpachah learn how to look at ingredients. All right, read the side over there for me.
Simple is better.
Simple is better. What does that mean? What does simple means better? What does that mean to you?
It means if you cannot pronounce it, recognize it, then it probably isn't good to consume.
That's basically what I'm saying. If you can't recognize the words, like if we look at this, for example.
The ingredients over there is granola, whole grain oats, brown sugar, crispy rice, rice flour, sugar, salted malt, barley extract. And then you go down below and you lingon, fructose, polydextrose,
like oligofructose.
Yeah.
If you can't recognize BHT, there's a whole bunch of different things that they come up with scientifically, or the chemical compound name to it. You're like, what is that?
Yeah.
Always read the label. You see what the sister is here doing? She's reading that label. And like I was saying, when you go into the grocery store, it's like a second job,
right?
Because you have to go down the aisle and you got to contend with all of the different brands and all of the different flavors that they have there. I just want potato, but they give you 100 different flavors of potato, and you have to okay. And then you got to contend with either if it's organic or if it's not organic. Okay, is this a Monsanto product, or is it something that came from the Most High? So you got to take that. Then when you come home, you got to wash, because they spray pesticides, they put different types of chemicals on it, or waxes, and that's a job by itself. Then you got to wash your meats. It's a whole lot of process. Then you got to put it up into your refrigerator and stuff.
People don't realize that the chemical imbalances that happen with one chemical and the other, you combine one food with the other. You buy this that says it has this, then you go and you say, well, I'm gonna add this to that. and you're making a sandwich, but you don't know or realize that the chemical in one part of the element of that sandwich and the other one make you a little crazy, or would cause you to have this side effect or this diabetes or this pressure or this problem, but then you just I gotta die of something.
Gotta die of something.
Realize that you're not doing according to the Most High's will and commandments.
Hey, brother Shay, do you have the video where I think it was Kiefer that shared it with us with the bow wows in the supermarket?
Oh.
You have that one?
Oh, if you can find that one, Kiefer.
Hey, you got to share that with the Mishpachah, because while we're looking at these issues with food and stuff, that's another thing that we have to keep our minds on. Even when you do find healthy food, one of the reasons why it's important, because I noticed that we all recognize the amount of work that goes into research. And when you buy your groceries, you just can't stick the thing in your refrigerator. You clean your refrigerator. I hope that many of our people are actually cleaning the refrigerators before you put stuff in, and clean the stuff before you put it in the refrigerator, because a lot of times you're thinking that the supermarket already did the job for you.
Nope.
That all you have to do is put the stuff in the fridge and you're good to go. So you come with a whole bunch of groceries, you're tired, you just want to go to bed, you just shove everything inside your clean fridge, and then the microbes are, hey, we got a party tonight. The microbes are everywhere. The different hands who, whatever it is all over the place. And then so it gets into other things. So we have to be mindful. This is why the Jeremiah, what is it, 29? What the Mosai said to Israel is very important. The way that we operate our families, the Hebrew way of doing stuff is different from the Gentiles, because they don't care.
It's important. It's very important. I mean, you go into a hotel and you realize they have dogs, and the dog come down, and while you're trying to have breakfast, the dog's there. The person bring the dog down with you. You go to a restaurant, you don't see dogs in restaurants, but then the dog comes in to the supermarket where the food is.
Yeah.
Or during breakfast if you're at the hotel.
Yeah, look at this right here.
I don't know if anyone can hear me, but so this lady is trying to get her animal out from the produce. You see what she's doing? You see who's reaching inside of the stuff? Well, her armpits all extended over the food.
The dog is all in there. And then you take it home and you put it right in your fridge.
Yep. You don't wash your package. You don't wash the carton.
Even with the carts.
Yep.
Nothing is safe anymore, Mr. Picard. This is why it's a second job. You got to go in there. You got to strategically shop. Then you got to comb and wash. Like after you do grocery shopping, I'm like, man, I'm so tired, man. So what I do is I put everything in the sink. And I put baking soda. My wife put baking soda, and fill up the sink with water and put all the fruits and vegetables in there and let it soak. Next morning we get up, we'll deal with that. The milk cartons, everything, we bleach it, wash it, put it in the fridge. Ain't nothing going in the fridge straight from the cart or from the bag. We gotta all that nastiness.
You may have to, family, and I'm seriously thinking about it. You may have to just buy your own personal shopping cart.
Some people do that.
And bring it with you. So you're good to go. Just have one of those foldable type utility shopping carts. They're like under $100. Stop messing with the people's stuff and just bring your own cart and roll it right in, pick up your groceries, roll it back out, and you're good to go.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? They'll look at you like you're strange. Like you have a third eye or something growing or extra ear. And not understanding that the Most High says we are a peculiar people.
Yeah.
Because we want to be separate.
And during the pandemic, they was telling you stay back 6 feet. Here's these things to wipe with and spray and all that nonsense. Where we at again?
I think the pandemic pandemic or the pandemic was the cleanest time that the stores have ever been.
Yeah.
But these people are nasty. Okay, let's finish this video.
Yeah, watch the veggies. These people.
My question is, how did the dog get up there in the first place?
Look what's coming out last. You see, the first part is the front, but look what's coming out last. Look how the dog is positioned.
Everything. Who knows if he peed back there? Because when animals are when dogs are afraid or nervous, whether
Yes.
they would defecate or they would pee because of nervousness. That dog looks scared as ever because it's not used to the environment.
Learn not the ways of the heathen. Look at that.
Oh my God. All right, that's enough nastiness.
That's why it's so important, family. I don't know. We've been talking about this, and
I'm gonna play some more videos just now. Let me just finish this one slide. All right, so if there's no label to read, Mishpaka, always ask what am I eating? Because you just don't take things and put it in your mouth just because somebody say, you know, like when you go through like Costco or one of those places and they have those little taste thing, they're like, oh, come on, you can taste this. And you're like, what is this? Oh, it's a burger. What kind of burger? Oh, it's made of camel meat. You're like, oh, camel meat.
Yeah.
And if you don't ask, you'll be eating camel meat.
Yep.
Or with bacon bits or something in
do
there.
you have the one with the kangaroo?
Yes, I'm gonna play it just now. The first 5 ingredients is usually what you're eating. Now, this is very important. So when you look up here, the first 5 ingredients is usually what you're eating. So if I take say, let me search for something. Let's look. Let's do a little test. Let's look up organic milk ingredients. Let's look at some images. All right, so we did this the other day. Let's look at this one here. Get a good picture of it. Hold on, let me see if I get a better one. All right, right here. Ingredients, it says grade A organic milk, chicory root extract, DHA, algae, or algal oil. Let me see what that is. Anybody know what algal oil is? DHA. Let me see what let's see. DHA, algal oil. What is this? Sustainable plant-based source of the omega-3 fatty acid. See the long word that you can't say? So to put it in abbreviations, DHA, derived from cultivated microalgae instead of fish. What does that have to do with milk? All I want is organic milk. But why am I having
texture?
Microalgae, cultivated microalgae? Bro, Gerald said poison.
Yeah.
You see what I'm talking about? The first 5 ingredients. So let's see. Organic milk is good. Chicory root, okay. Why did it, let's see, why chicory root in organic milk? Let's type and see. So why chicory?
The mere fact that they have to be putting all these things into food tells you that the food is sick to begin with.
Chicory root is added to certain milks, especially baby formula and some plant-based milks because it's rich in inulin, not insulin, inulin, a natural prebiotic fiber. This fiber acts as food for beneficial gut bacteria. And then they'll tell you the reasons why they're putting it in there. But inulin, a natural probiotic fiber. So that means, like you said, Rebbe, the cows isn't getting what they're supposed to get and isn't giving what they're supposed to give.
Yep. And the way that children are raised nowadays, they're not being breastfed. And in the old days, if a mother was not able to produce milk, a member of the family close by, because that's what they did during the slavery days. They would have what you call a wet nurse. So a lactating mother would supply, so the child will still get something that will help to, it's not the mother directly, but it's better than this stuff that they have now. So it's unfortunate, but we live in a really messed up society.
All right, here's another one. What are we actually eating when we get oxtail? Let's see.
All right, what are we saying, kids? Kangaroo?
Okay, hold on. Let me switch the volume over 1 second.
Tail versus oxtail?
The audio is not coming through, Brother Shay.
There's no audio right now.
This is not beef. This is not oxtail. This is kangaroo tail. I know it sounds crazy, but if somebody said to stay out of jail or you won't go to jail, if you could pick the cow versus the kangaroo, I would be in jail forever, guys. Sorry, we would be in jail forever. This shit is exact. So just understand something. For the same bag of cow, it's $34. For kangaroo, it's $11.99. Please understand we are being fed kangaroo by somebody, and it does not tell you. So, whatever. See that? Sweet. Fall off the bone.
Let me adjust the settings. Give me 1 second. See again, you see the witchery that's going on. They give you a 6 for a 9 because they know exactly what they're doing.
That's why you have to check, always make sure, because you never know what you're gonna be getting, what you're gonna be dealing with.
Let's look at one more video here. Let's see.
That video reminded me of the old man that in the book of Maccabees, that they wanted to switch the meat up. That says, eat some swine. He says, nope, I've never done it. So they told the man, why don't you pick whatever meat that you eat and just pretend, to be eating the unclean stuff. And he says, I'm not going to do it. So it's sad to see how this type of stuff is going on. Raw meat in the sense of oxtail. This is crazy.
Yep.
Yo, what is going on, you mo? We are back and we're doing another cooking video. I'm excited because today we're going to be cooking this kangaroo tail. Cut like a little bit off like that. That's the fat there. That's what you want to try to keep on the meat. That raw. Look at that. Now, this is what you're left with.
A nice big rat. That's right.
Australian rat.
This is another part that requires a bit of skill. Along here, there's joints. There's joints all along here. See that? That's what you got to do to every bit. You can see right there, that's the joint. Feel for it. People go crazy for the fat, kangaroo fat. Still. Still. That like button, subscribe, and comment on part 2. That's
all right. That's enough of that.
Hey, the only thing I would say is because when I first saw that video, I questioned the industry itself, because kangaroo is a protected thing in Australia and those places, right? You may find maybe 1 or 2 people doing that, but for people to go about selling that thing on a large scale for $11, first of all, kangaroo meat sold anywhere will be expensive, so that really doesn't make any sense. Some are saying that it's a hoax, it's false. Maybe in Australia itself that would happen, but it'll be too costly. But who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, see, it says right there, it's consumed in Australia, primarily consumed in Australia. So I'm sure they have kangaroo farms that they're raising it to do that too. Yep. All right, let me move on. I got some more because we're almost, time is almost up. We have about 30 more minutes. Okay, let me move on. All right, so labels are used. Go ahead.
Labels are used to identify, inform, warn, and promote serving as essential communication tools on products, packaging, and organizational systems.
So how to read a food label, and it's showing you here, tells you the size, the servings, the calories, which says nothing about the overall health of the product. So focus on the ingredients first. See what they're telling you? Don't worry about calories, because that's what they're pushing. Oh, you get the calories building up. What is the ingredient that you're eating? That's the first thing you're supposed to look at. Then talks about the low and high, right down here. Fat content is not about quantity, but quality. Minimizes trans fats and processed seed oils. Dietary cholesterol has little impact on cholesterol levels in your body, so do not worry too much about this measure. Sodium is not bad, but essential. Focus on overall food quality and your kidneys should balance your sodium levels. Yes. So basically, when you're reading, they're telling you, see what you're eating. Look at the ingredients. Know what exactly is in it, because that will tell you exactly what you're consuming. All right, let's look at a video here. That's going to help us understand a little better on that.
The list of ingredients at the back of any packaged food is a gold mine of information about that food. But ever wondered why you have to stare and look so closely to find and then read that list? Also, ever asked what these things like maltodextrin and dextrose and INS 150A and E235, etc. are? And what are they doing in your food? And even after you find these ingredients, ever wondered how much of each ingredient there is in your food? Because that's not declared there. If the answer to any of these is yes, then you've come to the right place. In this video, I'll show you how to read ingredient lists. Here's what all we'll talk about. First, we'll start with how to read and make sense of the ingredient list. Second, we'll learn what all those various strange sounding ingredients actually mean.
Let me pause it a minute. See, because this is important, because when you give the younger generation to go buy food or to pick some stuff up, they'll just go and they'll grab what the first thing they see. You tell them, go get a bag of rice. They'll just go grab rice. Or a box of rice. Yeah. But they don't know if the rice was man-made rice, or if it was which is jasmine, or if it's real rice, or if it's bleached rice, or what type of rice, where the rice came from. All these different things that you gotta know, so you'll know what you are putting in the cart. You tell them, go get a box of cookies. You want to treat them.
Like in the movie Civil War. What type of American
are you? They'll just grab cookies, and then when you look at the cookies, but my mom is just cookies. That is no. Read the ingredients. Death, seizures, loss of eyeballs. The list goes down when you really look at it.
Tremors,
and like they'll tell you this cookies is marketed colorful. It looks beautiful. All the commercials on TV, all the children are eating it on the commercials.
And as I said, even though they may say kosher on it, or for diabetic people that want to buy this, read the ingredients still, because it might be something in there that may adversely affect you. Because remember, most of the foods are not created for people that follow the dietary laws.
Yeah.
And for the people that are like you. They're created for the other nations, because the other nations don't really care.
That's right. Yes, Samuel Barnes, that is absolutely correct. All people don't need to be lazy and have nobody buying your groceries for you. Having Uber Eats and DoorDash. The heathen, like we just saw the video with the dog in Walmart. They could have passed by and get the same lettuce and put it in your cart and send it to you. Now you're wondering why your throat itching you, why you have, some sickness or something. All of a sudden,
time you got to twitch.
They're not going to pick the best for your interests. You don't know what they've done over your food, if it fell on the floor, if it was stepped on, whatever. Do your own shopping. Stop being lazy. And if you can't do it, find another Hebrew who has the same standards as you to help you.
I sent you a link about The issue with rice.
Okay, after we play this, we'll go to that one. Let's finish this one.
Third, I'll show you how to find out what exact amount of each ingredient is there in your food. And lastly, fourth, I'll show you how to choose only the good stuff and reject the bad. All this and more in today's episode of the Whole Truth Academy. FSSAI, or the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, mandates that every manufacturer has to declare each and every ingredient that's gone into their food.
See, and this is India.
On the back of pack. And because of this, manufacturers get to put the ingredient list, that important piece of information, in very, very small font in some corner at the back. While the front of pack is reserved for more important stuff like beautiful and unrealistic product shots, complete with flying almonds, dripping chocolate, and sexy models.
That's what you call a Jedi mind trick.
You get the drift. But once you do pick up your magnifying glass and find that ingredient list, you're hit with another problem. How to read it? How to demystify it? Well, allow me to help. First, order of ingredients. Our food regulator is smart. Did you know that FSSAI mandates that the ingredients on the ingredient list need to be listed in decreasing order of constitution?
Pause it a minute. That's very important. That's why I said usually the first 5 ingredients are very, very important. Hold on, let me fix this thing here. Okay, y'all can probably hear me better now. The first 5 ingredients are usually the most important. You see what it says here? The name of the ingredients used in the product shall be listed in descending order of their composition. So what's the best all the way to the least? So if you have a package and there's a whole bunch of ingredients, you know there's a bunch of garbage in there.
Right.
Because all you wanted was some potato chips.
Mm-hmm.
And it should have the basic ingredients: potato, oil, and the salt.
Right.
That's it. But when you look at it, it tells you potato flavor, potato whey. Give me some more. Then it'll go to oil, trans fat oil, seed oil, like 10 different oils. Like, how many oils you have to fry this potato in? Then you go for salt, they're going to tell you flavoring.
Or they could
natural flavoring.
Or they could use a word called blend.
Oh, yeah, blend.
Yeah.
All I want was oil.
Yeah.
Like, give me olive oil with a little dash of sea salt and some regular potatoes.
Yeah. I mean, or you could take the olive oil and, put a sprig of rosemary in it and let it become
flavored with the rosemary. Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead.
All right.
Constitution. What that means is that the first ingredient on the list is the largest component by weight in that food. Take this packet of oat cookies, for example. The first and hence the biggest ingredient here is refined wheat flour, which is maida. Then the next ingredient is edible vegetable oil. The third ingredient is maltitol, which is...
Let's pause it a minute. I'm sorry. Why does it have to say edible vegetable oil? That means something is wrong with it.
Which is basically palm oil, according to what they're saying there.
Okay. Then they can tell you inulin, rolled oats, milk solids, natural cereal fiber, 3% oats, almond 3%, and then they start to have all these spell casting.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back and play.
The kind of sugar. We'll talk more on this later. Then there is inulin, which is another form of sugar. And then at 5th position is oats, which is just 6%. This is perhaps the most potent and the most well-kept secret of the back of pack. And it opens doors to many, many other secrets. Which brings me to point number 2. Amount of each ingredient. Did you notice that in this cookie pack, the percentage of only a few ingredients, that is flour and oats, is declared? For some reason, the percentage of maltitol and vegetable oil and inulin is not declared. Why? Unfortunately, FSSAI does not mandate that the percentage of each ingredient be declared in the ingredient list.
So let me clarify that. So what he's saying is, when they put these things in the package, the companies don't have to tell you how much they're putting in there. They'll tell you, okay, we put 50% of it is flour and then 6% is oats. But the rest of the garbage, they're not going to tell you how much to put. So you don't know what you're getting. And that's the magic that they put behind it.
The food industry lobbied against this demand because that would let their recipes out. Their argument, if you knew the exact percentage of each ingredient, you or their competition could easily copy the recipe and make it yourself. Right. Interestingly though, you'll find the manufacturers self-declaring the percentage of a select few ingredients, like we saw here in the cookie. Flour and oats were declared. This is because FSSAI also mandates that for any ingredient which is emphasized on the front of pack through labels or pictures, like oats in this case, or any ingredient that is essential to that food, like flour is to biscuits, the percentage of that ingredient needs to be declared at the back. For example, take this bhujia. They've declared that the first ingredient at 46.2% is husked dew gram flour, which basically is a fancy name for besan. And the third ingredient at 9.2% is chickpea flour. Now, these two they had to declare because they are essential to what we expect from bhujia. But the ingredient in between at number 2 is oil. And they haven't mentioned how much is the percentage of oil.
And that's another way of you not being able to make that product. Because you say, I want to make the same cookies.
Yeah, and they hide it under a word called proprietary. Meaning that, it's your secret recipe and you have proprietary laws over it. So they can't really, you don't know what's in it. You just have to trust them. Sirach 12:10.
But no worries. Given what we know now, we can derive how much oil there is. Now, given that ingredients are ordered by weight, you know that oil has to be less than 46% and more than 9%. Also, 46 plus 9 is equal to 55%. So 55% of this packet is these two kinds of flours.
It's all numbers.
The science.
It's numbers.
And they haven't mentioned the percentage of any of the other ingredients either. But these other ingredients are salts and spices. How much can they be? 3% or maybe 5% at max? So basically, you now know that about 60% of this bhujia's constitution is flours, salts, and spices. And the only thing left is oil. So 40% odd in this might just be oil. Now, one way to check if your guess is right is to check the fats in the nutritional table. As we learned in the video on decoding nutrition tables, all flours are largely carbohydrates. So most of the fat in this product is coming from oil. So the percentage of fat in the nutritional table should ideally be close to the percentage of oil. Now, here they have listed the nutritional information per serve, and it says that one serving is 30 grams. So to find out per 100 gram, you'll have to multiply everything in the table by 3.3.
Are y'all good at math? Are y'all good at math, Mr. Carr? You be in the store trying to get me the calculator.
Yeah, but the most important thing on this thing right here that I look for that is very important to me is one thing: sodium. 14% sodium. And all the nutritional stuff down below tells you what? A big fat 0.
Not healthy. All right, let's close out this video. Let me see. Let me go down.
Why even post the names of those things if it's a 0?
I'm gonna play your video. Your thing just not ready. All right, let's read this one here. How has science changed our food?
Science have dramatically changed our food by revolutionizing agriculture production through biotechnology.
So science, more witchcraft.
And precision farming to increase yields.
That money that they can bring in.
Improving food safety and preservation via methods like pasteurization, refrigeration, and modified atmospheric packaging, and enhancing nutritional value and variety through fortification, genetic modification, and processing.
If you look at this is you can see all the different words in it. Let's see, revolutionize, increase, improve, preserve, pasteurize, refrigerate, modify, enhance, fortify, modify, process. All these words they're using is to change.
Food magic.
To change the natural form to something else. 2 Kings 4 and verse 40.
So they poured out for the men to eat. And it came to pass as they were eating of the pottage that they cried out and said, O thou man of Elohim, there is death in the pot, and they could not eat thereof.
Imagine you're eating and you just remember that the vegetables you had, the dog was just on the shelf. And you see all the microbes, and then there's some bacon bits in there, and
or even
shellfish.
worse, or even worse, like in North Carolina years ago, there was one of the farms that was being sprayed with pig fecal matter and different things that they taught, and the way how they set it up was for nutritional value or for set up in a way that it helps the food, but it doesn't help.
All right, let's look at this one right here. This is the BBC News. And this is not only found in Nigeria, it was also found in other places of the world too.
Plastic rice seized in Nigeria, December 21, 2016.
Look at this. It looks like rice, right? To the person who never picked rice in their life. You picked rice growing up, right?
No.
Even never had you picking up
well,
rice?
yeah, we pick out if there's stones in the rice or any little foreign objects in the rice to separate it, they wash it. Nigeria has confiscated 2.5 tons of plastic rice smuggled into the country by unscrupulous businessmen. The Customs Service says.
Now imagine the people looking for food to eat, and then you're consuming plastic that was going to end up killing you. You see how wicked these people are?
He said the rice was very sticky after it was boiled, and only God knows what would have happened if people ate it. It is not clear where the seed sacks came from, but rice made from plastic pellets was found in China last year.
All right. So you see that, Mishpaka?
Yeah.
Make a buck.
I mean, we don't have to read the whole thing, but it basically shows that we're living in a world where people's hearts are cold. You know, whatever that they call food today is compromise, and then on top of that, you get all kinds of experiments being done on people. Plastics is not thrown away; it's actually recycled into foods, and you name it. It's crazy. This one here, you really don't have to go into it. Maybe you might want to save it for another time, but
yeah,
you know, there's a lot of information about witchcraft when it comes to the food industry and things of that nature. So we really have to be vigilant in everything that we do in this world, this day and age.
And you may not be aware of it when walking into a restaurant, but you'll see a little table set up outside or in front of the restaurant or close to the restaurant by one of the places in a corner or in front of it where they have an altar for the food. So always be mindful about these things.
Brother Shay, can you pull up one last scripture, Ezekiel 4:13, and can you pull it up in the Bible Gateway so we can look at some of the different variations of the translations? That's Ezekiel 4:13. This scripture here really speaks about the times that we live, and the Most High told us, prophetically speaking, that this is going to be our lives in the future, right? Because we turned away from His covenant, and here we are today. So if you look at it first in the King James Version, just read it, then we'll, if you open it up, we'll read it first, and then we'll look at some of the other versions, just to, maybe one version for a little bit more.
And Yoah said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whither I will drive them.
See that? So our people are going to eat defiled bread. And it's not speaking about wheat bread and corn. So let's go to scroll down a little bit. Yeah. Go to the easy version. Just
easy version.
Yeah. If you hit all go back up, Brother Shay.
Okay.
Work with me. Go
I'm
back to where it was.
Oh, hold on. I am 1 second. Trying to get there. Okay.
Yeah, it should say all translations right below it. Close out that advertisement there. It's hit in all English translations, and then go down to the easy version. Right there, you just the Lord's also.
The Lord also said, I will send Israel's people away to live in foreign lands. Then they will have to eat unclean food, as you will do now.
See that?
Clear as day.
So it's very clear. It tells us exactly how our lives are going to be changed forever, and we're going to have more work, because we don't want the simple work He gave us as a people. We want hard work. We don't want to listen. And again, you're not going to hear in churchianity they're taking the time to go through all these things Brother Shea has presented for us. They're not going to take the time and show you, they're going to tell you, oh, God said that we're not supposed to eat anything unclean, but you go get some shots up in your blood with all kinds of unclean stuff. You go buy the mac and cheese in the box with unclean stuff. I mean, you don't know anything because the pastor is not taking the time out. He's supposed to be a shepherd, and he ain't shepherding nothing but the offering plate. That's all he's shepherding, right? But it takes time to do the research. It takes time to get things together so that our people can be a wise and understanding people among these heathen. That's as simple as we can put it. So I hope everybody has learned something tonight.
I'm going to read that one.
Then the Lord said, this is how the people of Israel will eat their food. They will be ceremonially unclean among the nations where I will banish them.
And that also ties in with food offered to idols via ceremony. So yeah, it covers it from every aspect when you look at it.
Absolutely.
Yes, Mishpachah. So tastes like chicken. When you look into it, understanding what we eat, there's a science of food. There's a science behind of it that they put into the food. We've seen it. And they have taken what is clean and made it unclean, and what is unclean, they're trying to make it clean. And you see how the Most High is saying that we who are in captivity, because we're still in captivity, will eat our bread defiled among the nations. This is why we have to work harder to finding the clean foods to eat. Come out of those nasty cities. Try to grow your own food. It's hard to start, but it becomes easy. The reward is even better. I grew my first pineapple the other day, and it was sweet.
Was it a big old giant pineapple?
In fact, let me see. Let's have a picture. I can show the Mishpachah.
Because what we got today, Mishpachah, it's amazing. Everything is huge, it's unnatural. If you look at wild strawberries, those things are little tiny berries.
Let's see if I can see that there. A little tiny pineapple. You see, see the size of my hand.
And it was sweet too.
It was sweet. It was about that big in your hand and very sweet. But we were growing that pineapple for what, almost 2 years now, something like that. But the Most High blessed with a pineapple.
Yeah.
And guess what? There's more of it starting to bud and come out now. It takes a while. So you put into the work and you'll get your reward will be much, much better. And we want to deal with the nasty foods the heathen have out there.
Roll the dice.
And there's much more we could talk about, but we know the time is spent and understanding the Most High wants what's best for his people. Clean, delicious, healthy foods, natural, not unnatural, where they're putting natural flavors and fooling you to make you think that it's clean to eat, okay? So I hope we learned something tonight where we can teach our families how to look for what is clean, how to look for it, what to eat, what not to eat, and so forth. And like I said, I put in the chat, you can go back, the video I did with the clean and unclean foods. It's a little more in depth. You can see a lot more of it. You want to say anything else?
I just want to say, I pray that the Most High will continue to watch over us, bless us, and guide us. And I want to thank all those that were listening in for the newcomers. And if anyone listened to the rebroadcast, continue listening, and we pray for you and pray with you and ask that you continue with all the other classes that we do have in our Rumble and YouTube channels, that the Most High will bless us and give us guidance in all that we do. Take care and shalom.
Food is medicine. Food can be a drug. That's the question. Is your food medicine or is it a drug? Just think about that, okay? That will determine whether you're healing your body or committing a slow suicidal act. Okay, so food is medicine. That's why the FDA deals with food and drugs. Rebbe, any last words for tonight?
I think you said plenty, so we can wrap it up here. Just family, just take care of yourselves and stay focused. Don't lose course on anything.
Amen.
Just be mindful of the times that we live. All right. Love you all. Stay strong, stay sharp. And the elder is going to close out with a word of prayer. Thank you, Kiefer, for reading.
Thank you very much for allowing me to be here, Rebbe and O'Shea, and I ask that the Most High bless us. Thank you all for praying.
All praises to the Most High. Wonderful class, Brother O'Shea, Brother Yana, and Kiefer for reading. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you, we praise you. We bless your holy name, Father, for such a wonderful class that you have allowed Brother O'Shea to put together tonight, that we can see the danger that is there. We can see and learn that we need to better our condition, try to live better and read for ourselves and to take care of ourselves. Heavenly Father, we thank you, we praise you, we bless your holy name. As we're about to dismiss, we pray that thou may dismiss us with your blessing. Bless our teacher, Brother O'Shea, bless Brother Yana, and also Kiefer for reading. Allowed us to have a wonderful night rest as we go to sleep. And in the morning, we're going to get up and give you all the thanks and praise. We love you and we thank you, because we ask it all for your Son, Yeshua, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
The words of our
mouth, meditation of our hearts, be acceptable in your sight, O Yah, strength and Redeemer.
Strength.
Shalom, Mishpachah, until
Laila
Shabbat.
Tov.